Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. This is one of my favorite shows of the year, only because Leroy's going to pay a debt. We're going to talk about some AEW. We have a lot of interesting topics that a lot of people are probably not thinking that closely about. So this is, I looked at the list and I'm like, this is going to be fun because we're really going to be diving into a lot of stuff here today.
I was thinking this week. It's incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leroy.
And I still have all my brain cells.
Yep, Leroy is here without the thinking cap.
I took that off because my brain started hurting.
Our buddy Jesse, of course, is here, folks.
Happy to be back.
Jesse, now Jesse has a bit of an amendment to this little bet. You don't have your hot sauce, but you got some hot sauce.
So there was some complications, so I kind of had to. I lost the hot sauce, but we got some hot sauce for him. I think what we'll do is we'll tape it live while we're doing this.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And then, the amendment to the bet, since it's not as hot, but it's still hot, is he has to finish the whole piece of meat with the hot sauce before he can have anything to drink.
For those of you who are listening within the Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin area, we have
Quick Trip chicken
brand chicken. Very good chicken.
Very good.
You know, for the price. But Leroy,
it's a great buck for your good cluck for your buck.
There you go. So,
trying to get that figured out.
Leroy, I guess we'll give you some gentleman's agreement. Like, do you want to get this over with? Because if you do, hand me your cup. Because we
and I have to open the hot sauce.
Well, I will be.
No.
You want to take the cup from me?
We ain't
All right.
this in arm's reach.
He is taking the cup. Jeez.
You know what? Why don't we have our little assistants really quick? Because we need someone to tape this. We need to actually let's do me the honors of getting this open. I will get ready to set up the camera.
Alrighty.
And we're gonna tape a little bit of your suffering.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, also
what are we gonna put this on?
We're gonna definitely, by the way, guys, we're gonna put this on the YouTube 13 Card Subject to Change.
Yes.
And make sure that if you are subscribed, that you get your friends to subscribe as well, because you are not gonna want to miss this video.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, while we are preparing this, Jesse's getting everything ready, might as well just get this out of the way. Once again, folks, as I have recently spoken to the man himself, but ladies and gentlemen, once again, Haitian hot sauce, our official hot sauce of 13 Cards. Don't have it today, but that's because also, as Al has personally told me, they are currently out of stock. He does have a batch in production.
Yes.
It's about 2 weeks out. He's also very excited to sort of give us a little tidbit, They got something coming down the line. He's got something in the works. I don't know anything about it right now, but I'm going to kind of tease all the people out there who maybe have tried it. I know Jesse's excited.
Oh, yes.
But, yes, folks, Haitian Heat hot sauce. Right now, Al asked that nobody gives him a call. The phone number is, however, active and working. The Amazon store is on its way as well. Right now, like I said, nothing currently in stock. But, hey, folks, fermentation's a long process, especially when like we've said on the show, this is properly done hot sauce. I mean, when you get that stuff right, and Jesse, I think knowing somebody else involved,
yes,
they didn't think they were going to be selling this much, so I guarantee they didn't have as much backstock as they thought.
I think the fact that it got so popular was probably a surprise, but it's a good surprise. So being able to kind of take in those orders and just have those orders ready to go as soon as the fermentation's ready to go. Even I am waiting for my batch still. So
yes.
So I wish we had that for me to take. I'd gladly take that.
We don't. No. I don't want you to have something tasteful. I want you to have something that's legitimately it's going to be hard. But the fact is that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, like we said, Al has his own brand of hot sauce, local boxer, looking to get him on the show before the Floyd Mayweather debacle against Logan Paul.
June, I believe that is.
Yep, that's in June. So we're looking to maybe have him on beforehand. If not, we'll talk to maybe after it. But the fact is, folks, is that you know what? If you're willing to get quality in a sauce, especially a sauce that it's going to have a nice little burn to it,
this is a good juice.
This is the stuff that we want to do. So right now, folks, Jesse's getting him a nice, wonderful piece.
Give me the piece of chicken that you want to do.
And by the way, folks, I'm gonna kind of narrate this, while Jesse's got the video going. But here's the deal, folks. I want to point something out. This chicken, based on the fact that I've made it many times, this is fairly fresh. This is a very fresh batch.
This is a very fresh batch that I picked up. Yes.
Fantastic.
Well, it is always fresh. I mean, you only see us out there a period of time.
Yeah, but there's fresh, but then there's also straight out of the fryer fresh.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
And this is pretty close.
Well, they're probably. I want to give a shout out
so I can actually do this properly.
All right.
You want to
hold on a sec. I'm
about to say we're gonna have Zach come and hold my camera for me.
Well, I'm gonna do this before we do this. It's not his birthday is not today.
Oh.
But I have to give a shout out to Darren.
That's
May
right.
14th
May
is coming up here.
Yes.
I think it is be next Saturday. I think it is either Friday or Saturday. It is his birthday. Check out his. If you're not subscribed to his Patreon account, check it out. He might have posted up somewhere else. But exclusively, he has some deals coming in for you get some of the stuff on his Teespring.
Yep.
If you are a patron,
he missed his own surprise
and
party.
he did. I did notice that. Yeah, his consultant and Bullhead had a great idea for the surprise party, but you should.
Bullhead was just there.
Yeah, Bullhead was there. But next time when you do a surprise party, you should tell the person you're doing the surprise party about, and it would work out a lot better in that case. But hey, his consultant
he got a text that said, "Where are you at?" So that was the invite.
Well, I give his consultant A for effort because he damn well tried. Okay. Oh, jeez.
Here's the deal, Jesse. I also want to make sure. Let's make. Do you need a knife or something? I think we should poke some holes in this chicken to make sure that sauce really gets deep in there.
You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's grab a little bit of a knife. Okay.
Oh my God. I'm getting tortured. The knives. No. The knives over here.
They're right there.
Do you want a butter knife or a sharp knife?
We're just gonna use a little bit of a butter knife here.
Because the sharp knives are over there. So.
All right.
This.
Puncture this chicken. Gotta make sure we get that all.
Yes, exclusively on our YouTube page. Please subscribe to see me manning up.
There we
and
go.
I'm not getting hit in the balls.
All right. Now we're gonna go ahead.
But
now,
I'm getting hot sauce.
Instead of the sauce I got Cholula sauce, which is it's pretty hot.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna get a burn here, and here we go. We're gonna get that all in there. Yeah.
Now, am I gonna successfully be able to do this show after eating this?
That's not really a concern of ours.
Zach said it out loud.
I know.
was thinking it.
If I'm quiet for most of the show, y'all will understand that's why. All right. Now I think get back in your position there. I'm gonna grab a.
If you would like to grab a
behind
fork
me,
or that, yep, that's fine.
We'll give you some paper towel.
If you wanted to savor the flavor.
That's only when I'm with the ladies.
Why do you need?
That's why you have a beard, huh?
Why do you need silverware in that scenario? Anyway, all right, moving on, folks. While this continues,
well, hey, this is not a PG. Yeah,
no, it's not.
It never has.
But anyway, folks. While that's happening, I'm going to give you a little rundown. We got a bunch of SmackDown news to talk about because SmackDown, once again, the A Show, having a wonderful run right now.
Yes,
really
yes,
is.
indeed.
Great stories that we have to talk about. A bunch of possible feuds coming up. We got to talk about WrestleMania Backlash. That card's now pretty much officially set.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get that going. We have some news coming out of Spot Monkey Wrestling, a lot of AEW stuff. We're going to talk about, discuss, and we're going to nitpick the Blood and Guts show. I say show because no, folks, this was not a pay-per-view.
No, it was on Wednesday.
It was on a live show.
Here he
so
goes.
so
He's
here we
getting
go.
ready to,
here we go.
In the extra sauce, I'm actually dipping in.
He's
there.
actually dipping in the sauce right now. Woo!
There we go. There are no drinks within arm's reach of this man. I just want to point that out right now.
I even moved mine.
Yeah,
all right.
No, there we go. All right. How we doing, Leroy?
We're doing good.
Okay, all right. Maybe give him the bottle. I think he needs to put a couple, more dabs.
Like I said
on
before, the great news is the complication allowed him to only have to take Cholula sauce. See, I actually found ghost pepper sauce originally.
Yes, I remember this. Save that for the next time Leroy makes a dumb bet on the show. At least when I bet Jesse, I pretty much know I'm winning the bet. So.
That one just
I'm a
hurts.
real man. I can handle losing.
Nothing says a man has to lose.
To be fair to you, Leroy, we all lost at WrestleMania.
Only on night 2. Only on night 2.
Oh, yeah, on night 2.
Yeah, only on night 2. All right.
Thank God for Bailey.
Yeah, right. Oh my. We're talking about Bailey here in a little bit as well. So Leroy,
For everyone who was sitting there worried about if she was going to get another shot, like she's still a main player for them.
Leroy, there's some there's some empty space on that chicken that doesn't seem to have any sauce. The bottle's right there. You did say that you were going to chug this straight if Jessie didn't provide you with chicken.
Well,
I did joke about I'm not going to chug.
Sure, joke about it. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Come on, Leroy.
I'm gonna put that
there
hot
we
sauce
go.
right in the view right there.
Now the hiccups are starting. I like this part.
I am lathering up everything off my plate.
I like a man who could take a punishment.
Right, exactly.
Just like myself, Leroy could take a punishment.
Yep.
I was married.
That's only a punishment if you date wildlife.
I know, and it was my fault. I screwed up.
Yep. There's a reason. There's a reason why Leroy's not allowed in the zoo anymore.
He's got a permanent ban now.
Of course, neither's the animal that he married.
There goes that kick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's hitting there.
ladies and gentlemen, Leroy's not going to need an antihistamine for a week.
But he'll be able to breathe the rest of the show very clearly.
Very well. Very well.
If I had that ghost pepper, no, I would not have taken my allergy pills all week after that.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
no, we're not going to need those.
I've chewed on one of those. Ooh.
Yeah. See now, folks, I've worked in produce. I know not to do it. Call me a weenie, call me, a loser, whatever. I'm not dumb enough to try those damn things.
There's a reason you usually are supposed to cut it and get rid of the seeds.
They burn through surgical gloves.
I know.
I'm not joking. I had to wear 2 pairs.
Right on there. Look at that.
We got a dab.
We got no dab. There's a pool.
All right.
There's a pool in that
There's a
chicken
pool
right
on there.
now.
Let's go.
And
Finish it. There we go. All right.
Now the man can have
All right.
something to drink if he needs it.
No. There's a bit of a waiting period
Not yet?
here. There's a bit of a waiting period
so-
here. Let's see if we can't get to the first topic, maybe.
All
I
right.
can do it.
You good?
I'm-
Remember, check this video out, this nice little 7-minute video on YouTube. Well, and listen to the show because you'll know when we decide to actually give him his drink.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
All right.
All right. There we go. All right. So anyway, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I think we should get into the biggest news that has happened over the past week. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Can't Call It War Games.
That was the funniest part to me. Because I'm like, Blood and Guts is basically war games without pinfalls.
Yes.
Well, they just had.
It was
it an
submission
enclosed cage?
or surrender.
Or surrender.
Yeah. So anyway,
Which is an interesting twist.
Was there only one ring?
2 rings.
2 rings.
Oh, they
There
had
was
2
rings.
rings.
Now, okay. Leroy's got the results. We're going to quickly go through the first hour and a half results. But may I also point out to those of you who may not have caught it live, they had to issue not 1, not 2, but 5 actual money refunds to fans.
Wow.
Because they did not explain that the first 90 minutes was going to be pre-taped.
Oh,
You didn't see that?
Oh, no.
So
Yep.
this is the part
Tony
where
Khan
once
came
again,
out.
folks, I need to explain. No, he didn't even come out.
No, I heard that he came
He
out
didn't-
and announced that.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Dirt Sheet did, radio and Facebook did say he did come out and say.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
once again, folks, this is my biggest issue with
That's
AEW.
interesting. I didn't know that.
The formatting of everything they do is so piss poor that even their own fans are getting angry at them. So anyway, but Tony Khan did supposedly give them the assurance that their boos and cheers would be used in the live television moments. And I'm looking at myself like, what the hell are you doing, Tony?
It doesn't even make sense to
He's
pre-tape
on
it. Just
crack.
do it live.
Well, no, hold on. But once again, we always talk about the format, format and in doing the show. Folks, I get it. You can't necessarily go indoors, and Daly's Place isn't open air. But we'll talk about that in a little bit here because they have ideas for Double or Nothing, which I'm going to get into here in a second. I've already got into it with Jessie once this week, but I'm going to get into it again. No, hold on. No,
All right.
what I'm getting at is this, Jessie. So their idea was it was going to be hard to set up the cage quickly. So they decided to pre-tape everything, which was garbage in and of itself, but we'll get into the pre-tape garbage. But it's like, no, folks, WWE can do everything live because they just lift it up.
Yeah.
So obviously nobody planned this out. Nobody thought this through. So their idea was, instead of figuring it out and possibly having the cage brought in like large sections, because you're a billionaire, for Christ's sake. You should know how. You think you should have a backup plan and a backup plan.
They own that building, so they should know the dimensions.
Let's see.
Of
They
it.
could build metal scaffoldings that go around that is tall enough.
Or hear me
and
out.
you can lift it
Hear
up.
me out. What if they just built
That's
it in?
weird.
Well, here's the deal. What if they had built it in sections, still had the matches before they put the cage together, and then the other competitors could have used those sections of cages as spots in their matches? I'm not saying create a pay-per-view where the whole thing is done in a war game setting, but we've seen days where the cage has been up there and somebody told the dude to lower it.
Yeah.
On a live Raw. I mean,
very true.
You know, we could have used it. I mean, for God's sakes, TLC's got TLC stuff lying around in every match. It gets involved no matter what, whether you want it to or not. But anyway, so Leroy, you have the results, and may I just say, this show was supposed to be their big blood and guts, even though the faces had already gotten their heat back by hiding in a bathroom that nobody needed to use for the entirety of the day. I'm just spitballing some things that actually happened, but anyway.
Well, you never know.
So the
Somebody
big blood and guts, we'll talk about the ratings issue they had early in a little bit here, because, folks, there's a lot of nitpicking to do here, but it's all going to be done in a truthful sense, because that's what we do here on the show. But anyway, we open this big blood and guts event with Kenny Omega and Michael Naka. Please get the fuck off my fucking television.
Not gonna win any championship.
In his AEW work uniform.
Yes.
Versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. This was the opening to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse, you've been somewhat complimentary of Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah.
This is a absolute bullshit use of him, and this is supposedly one of Kenny's best friends from Japan.
No, we're gonna get into the Heat story later. But
like my lips.
There you go.
That's my gums mostly right now.
Okay.
Thank God for fake teeth.
This whole match is supposed to build the fact that Kenny is basically afraid of getting in the ring with Jon Moxley. Now, I think they're going to throw a stupid curveball, but a curveball nonetheless at us at Double or Nothing.
That they already haven't thrown? Can I explain the match before we go into your curveball, or do you want to get the curveball out? Okay.
You want to say who won?
So, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston won.
We'll get to that.
But Kenny Omega never got into the match, so it didn't matter. Kenny Omega basically left the damn match.
But the funny, but the stupid, but now hold on. Well,
it was only 8 minutes.
No, hold on, Leroy.
Yes.
You're missing once again the formatting issue. Okay, so the match starts with Callis and Nakazawa coming out to the ring. There's no Kenny to be seen, and Don Callis explains that Kenny is not there. Well, once again, the bullshit that is AEW and the fact that the commentating team doesn't know shit or doesn't care, they literally talk over Callis to the television audience saying, and I quote, well, what do you mean? That's a lie. We've seen him all day. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Okay, this is what I got to say, and this works good, I hope.
JR knows better than this.
A part of me thinks they don't actually tell them.
Oh, God. Your commentators are one of the most important things of creating the experience and for the future memories, unless you were in the arena. They have to know what's going on. But anyway,
I think literally Kenny didn't tell them to tell them.
But anyway, so
Leroy,
so now we don't. Kenny's not going to be in the match. Callis says Nakazawa is going to take on Moxley and Kingston by himself. So while Moxley and Kingston do their long entrance from the parking lot, which takes about 25 minutes, at least in my brain it took 25 minutes.
Oh, Eddie joined him from the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Boy.
No, Leroy, they get to ringside and then get attacked by Kenny Omega. So right off the bat, Kenny is a again, I know he's a heel, but he's a liar and he's a scaredy cat. And this is the guy who's supposed to be the greatest champion in all of wrestling right now. Anyway, so like he said, Nakazawa never got tagged out. Kenny was never in the match. Kenny actually walked out on Nakazawa, and I still don't even know what to call what they did with the double team move it was just a really weird, awkward sort of double team move.
They didn't set. I don't think they set it up the way they probably originally planned.
Well, nothing happens on television in AEW that they originally planned. They all think they're dancing around in Candyland. In reality, it looks like a back alley.
But
production.
I will say, Mox and Kingston are such professionals. I do believe that they had a decent plan for the double team.
Yeah.
Some, maybe Naka forgot it.
So
It's
anyway,
possible.
Leroy, guess what?
Yeah.
There's an afterbirth.
Well, duh.
Of course.
So what? So here's what's funny: Kingston and Moxley are in the ring over Nakazawa.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny doesn't come out. The Young Bucks come out, dressed like your children are on a Saturday morning in what looked like pajamas.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm not joking.
It was.
Guys, if you're
was.
trying to look like 1990s Shawn Michaels, you're on the opposite end of the clothing spectrum. But anyway, also, by the way, didn't Michaels have a successful Hall of Fame career before he got born again?
Yeah.
These guys got born again before they had a career. And
So
notice I didn't say successful career.
Okay, I can quote the late great Roddy Piper, who says, "We've come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum." They're all out of kick ass.
Yeah,
All they had
pretty
was
much.
bubblegum.
But anyway, so then Leroy, then while they're staring down, yelling at the Bucks, the Good Brothers have to come in. So twice in one segment, we've had Moxley and Kingston get attacked from behind on the same camera angle. And by the way, what were Gallows and Anderson wearing?
Were they wearing PJs too?
No,
Oh.
no. Gallows had
God.
like a fedora or something. He looked like he'd just come from a party.
So
What was that?
He's been doing like this weird hybrid of himself from New Japan, like they all have, because they're not technically Bullet Club.
No, they
and-
can't be because
and
New Japan's not dumb enough to be associated with this crap.
And finally, they have been just calling them the Elite.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So,
Yeah.
what he used to wear was a top hat,
Yeah.
and then he had, for those who don't know, in New Japan, he had face paint on.
He did. But he had that in WWE, too.
Now he doesn't have face paint. He just
No.
has a stupid-ass fedora and a fake earring.
And a really,
And
really
he
bad
talks about
spray
coming all the time.
and a really, really bad spray tan. It's awful.
I get they were a little misused in WWE, but Vince would have never let you denigrate yourself like
Oh,
this,
God,
Luke.
no. Oh, God, no. No. And I understand that Carl's not the machine gun anymore, but he still can do better than this. I mean, for God's sakes. Anyway, Leroy, I have nothing else to say because they beat him up. They did a blah, blah. Kenny came back out, by the way. I want to point this out. I don't remember what happened because I stopped watching. I literally sped through the rest of it. What was the next match? I don't know. Jesse, I'm sorry. I don't care anymore.
I was basically going to just say, I mean, Kenny came back out to kind of do the heel. Like,
finger pointing,
thing,
basically.
yeah.
All he ever does is finger point and make
But
constipation noises.
It's just one of those things.
It's bad. I'm sorry.
Like a bad day in the
It's
bathroom
one of
for
those
me.
things. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to get to the curveball. So apparently next week.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Next week we're getting Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Now that should be a wonderful match. If you've never seen these two work together before,
I
they're
saw
very
that.
good together.
I
Pac
saw
to
that.
me is like Darren Corbin in the sense that he can get something out of Orange Cassidy.
So
he
he's-
actually takes the gimmick,
Yeah.
and he actually can create a story with it.
And what's been nice recently is Orange has actually taken a more serious tone with the gimmick.
He has.
So it's actually gotten better.
Yeah.
Well, that's
now,
good. That's good.
which is good.
Yeah, no,
Which
no.
is very, very good.
He's incredibly athletic. People forget
And
this.
now we're starting to see more of his moveset, which shows he's actually a better wrestler than we thought he might be. And he's actually a little bit better at telling stories than we thought he could be.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm a fan
I
just
get a
yet,
feeling
but
Orange
I'm
Cassidy
getting
is
there.
not only winning that match next week, I think he's taking the championship off of Kenny because of John. I think they're going to have a blood feud with the Elite.
Here's
and
the deal.
Championship won't even be involved.
Here's the deal. We're gonna get to that absolute abortion dumpster fire of an idea later. What was the next match, Leroy? Because I literally want to stop talking about.
I know
Kenny
you look
Omega
shocked right now.
Yeah,
That's
But the way that
Wow.
the way that played out,
no, I agree.
that looks like they might put that championship on Orange Cassidy, who is not ready for it
Oh,
yet.
God, no.
But they're going to do it.
But anyway, okay.
well, it's
Yeah.
his
Just
favorite.
put it on Pence if you're going to
Hold
take
on,
it
hold-
off. Of
Here we go.
Continue.
I
I'm
know,
sorry,
I know,
continue.
I know.
I do agree. All these people that want to kick ass, all they have is bubblegum. And people are like, what are you talking about? Watch the movie They Live.
Exactly.
Love
And before we get off this, the Young Bucks are the worst. I cannot believe I agree with Jim Cornette for once. Why? Why?
They can't even make it as snarky heels.
I used to think like, okay, they just, they're a lower form of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They just have bad comedy, but you know what? I can deal with it.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels was bad comedy.
Well, because the second run of D-Generation X was all dad comedy. It got bad at times.
Well,
I
we
enjoyed
talked
it.
about
But I enjoyed it, but it was bad.
Oh yeah.
We talked about it on
Yeah.
it might have been last week's show. The second iteration of DX, they were dads. Shawn was born again. You couldn't do a.
I mean, Triple H at that point was damn near in his 40s.
Well, not only that, but it wasn't the Attitude Era anymore. So
Yeah.
obviously television changed. More stuff had to be implied as opposed to just do.
But the Young Bucks, like, I was finally like, okay, I kind of think I like the face characters.
Were they better as heels?
Hell no. Hell no. Like I just and he.
How long are we into the episode? Hold on a second. How long are we into the episode?
That was a good.
It's 25 minutes. And the hot sauce doesn't bother me. I'm just getting thirsty. Nothing to do with the hot sauce. I'm just my mouth.
I was about to
is
say
getting
that was a
parched.
good 15 minutes. He did really good.
Yeah, 25 minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, I was finally getting into them as faces, and I'm like, you know what? They can actually do this. I think I see what Vince saw in them.
And then they go heel.
And then they go heel, and they're doing this horse shit. And then I'm reminded, like, oh, yeah, in New Japan, you really were second tier. And, yes, you were multiple-time IWGP Tag Team Champions, but if not for the Tongans, you might have not even been that. If not for AJ Styles, you might have not even been that.
If not for Kenny, New Japan wouldn't have wanted you.
And the biggest one to actually think overall about AEW, everyone in AEW needs to go kiss Finn Balor's feet. Because most of you wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for Finn Balor.
We're not going to... All right, here's the deal. I want everyone to go to our Facebook page.
And check that out.
Oh, that's right. You did post that about that.
Yes.
I did, actually.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
But-
yes.
but-
we
but-
both post. But,
But
yeah, he
anyway,
got that.
basically, we're not going to read it, but the only thing that we're going to say is, all hail the prince. That's all,
There
that's
we
all
go.
we're going to say.
And I totally agree.
But anyway, what was the next match so
All
we
right.
can get past this dumpster fire of an
Jesus,
afterbirth
the Elite
placenta
sucks.
Elite Open? And by the way, I want to point something out. Again, a blood and guts event, and you open with probably one of the worst comedy segments I've ever seen.
And being the Elite sucks now.
It's only
I'd
8
rather
minutes.
watch Sammy's vlog. That's how bad being the Elite has gotten. But please,
I'd rather
continue.
spend more time on the brand new Facebook page, Sami Zayn dancing to a different song every day, but it's the same video. But anyway,
That's true.
Sammy-
yes.
I like Sammy. But
All right,
continue.
we got next match. Cody Rhodes defeated QT Marshall.
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 I'm
I'm
at least going
sorry.
to say it properly. They're not going to say it right on AEW.
I'm about to say
Okay.
he's not even getting on Leroy about that.
I'll
They just
rephrase it.
constantly
No,
never
no.
say his name right
QT
on AEW.
Marshall.
Marshall.
Because it was two L's in ROH. Now,
Yeah.
okay.
That was a 12-minute match too.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to say something right now. This would have been better if it was saved for 3 weeks to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Tony Schiavone saying, finally we're going to see them. I'm like, after what, 3 weeks of bad
It's been a month.
fights?
It's been a month, but it's just been weird.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway,
These weird builds.
Here's the
for
deal.
Cody's
Here's the deal.
stories.
Here's the deal. I am implementing the Mox Box rule on the show as it was not a bad match.
No.
But we're not going to talk about it because it doesn't deserve to be.
It was a bad time for them to do
Horrible
the
time
match.
for the match, but it wasn't a bad match. There's nothing to critique because they're both good in the ring.
It isn't over
Yes.
though.
Yeah.
No, I know that's the sad part.
What I didn't realize and why they did this match. This match was a lead-in for him to face Anthony Ogogo,
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
which means he's probably gonna lose.
Yep.
Double or
Anyway,
nothing.
next.
The next match, unfortunately, this was a female match, and I looked at the time. I was like, was it a WWE?
Oh, they gave it.
Was this a WWE match from back in the day? Because it was only a minute and 29
Yep.
seconds.
Yep.
With Dr.
But
Britt
hold
Baker.
But hold on. Vince should be in trouble for not wanting an all-women's brand, which again the numbers still don't support. Even okay, Jesse's idea I think would have worked, but
Yes.
the numbers right now are not supportive. But remember, Vince, who still gives them at least a half hour of television time every Raw or SmackDown, whether it's good or for worse. But Vince is the guy who's killing women's wrestling.
Yeah, I think they probably gave him 5 minutes with their intros and everything, but that's it. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Julia Hart by submission.
From here in
a
Minnesota.
minute and
Julie.
29.
But now hold on.
A minute and 29 seconds.
Yeah, no,
She's
exactly.
from here in Minnesota. This was basically
Julia
a
Hart?
dark. Yeah,
But here's the deal.
She actually wrestled for First Wrestling before.
She has,
Oh,
yes.
cool.
Under
She
a
has,
different
yes.
name.
But no, folks, this is supposed to be a big event. Why is there a squash match
It
on a
did
big
make
event?
sense.
Okay, once again, folks, I am not even angry anymore at their storytelling, at their wrestlers, at their talent. They just don't know how to format.
Well, what I don't understand.
They can't
is
format a show.
if you were going to give.
I know they got to listen to how we formatted
If you were
their
going to
shows.
give the
They
women,
need to.
If
Yeah.
you were only going to give the women 6 minutes, then why not simply just have a face-off between her and Sheeta?
Thank you.
Because once again, your women's champion is not even on the show.
Sheeta has had
How-
less television time since she became the champion.
I don't get it.
How long has she been off? I have not
She's
seen
been- so she's
anything about her on the
So
show
she
for
won her
a
match
month?
at the pay-per-view
She did.
Last month.
Yeah.
last month.
Okay.
They did the little face-off between her and Britt because after she won, Britt was officially now the number one contender.
Yes.
because
Okay, yeah,
everyone
yeah.
else in front of her, Sheeta had knocked down.
Yes.
Now, the issue is, every time Sheeta is supposed to have a feud, Sheeta's not on television. Like, not on Dark Elevation, not on Dark. She's not there.
Sheeta has the easiest schedule of any champion in all of pro wrestling. Even the ones whose companies are still shut
She's
down.
exclusive to AEW.
She
She
is.
doesn't have to go back to Stardom
Nope.
or Japan for any reason. And even though Progress is starting to restart over there, she doesn't have to go over there.
No.
Her exclusive rights right
Yep.
now are with AEW.
Easier schedule than Brock Lesnar?
Yep.
Way easier.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Because here's the deal. Brock Lesnar at least
Shows up.
Brock Lesnar has to show up once every 3 months. Sheeta's not even in the crowd.
Dude,
they're
yeah.
listening
They
to
had-
us.
They
They're-
got her out the crowd.
Well, that's
they're
good. That's
listening
good.
to us, but they're not using their women's champion.
So it's going to take them. How long did it take them to listen to us and not have him in the crowd? Was that many months?
It had to be like
Many
5
months.
months in a row where she
5
was
months.
just in the crowd. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is your women's champion doing in the crowd?
5 months from now, so it's May. So come October, November,
Sheeta will finally be used.
it
Yes.
should be used properly.
And she'll no longer
it's
be
gonna take
champion.
them that long.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So
Britt
anyway,
Baker will be champion. at that
next,
one.
Yeah.
next,
All right.
next.
This is a 4-way tag match, and the next
The number
person,
one contenders are SCU. They are the number one ranked team. Why are they in a match with the other 3 ranked teams? Why is this happening? Jesse, I don't even care who's in the
Hold
match.
on, hold on. So I want you to go ahead
Alright.
and finish explaining,
Okay.
and then
The-
I'm actually going to agree with you here on.
I agree with you.
God in hell.
and I do too. Whoever wins this match is going to get a
I'm going to
tag
go
match.
do what the women's match
on
was.
May
I'm going to
12th.
take a piss break.
And that will take longer than the
That'll
match,
take
probably.
longer than the match
But he had to go. Well, he has to go all the way up the
because he
stairs
has
and
to
come
go
back.
upstairs.
The 4 teams. It was SoCal Uncensored, Jurassic Express, Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed. And the next person, they would get a May 12th episode of Dynamite, a tag team match, and
Which will be next week
SoCal
or this upcoming week.
is let's see here.
So
yeah,
SCU,
yeah, it's this next
so
week.
SCU,
SCU won. And I'm
SCU
like,
has actually
what's
been the
the
number one
point?
contenders for like a month.
So
And it's clear that the Young Bucks are basically going to break this team up. One, because I think Frankie was already going to get a singles push.
yeah,
And two, because I do think Christopher Daniels has probably wanted to retire the last 2 years. I know he's talked about it off screen a lot.
I don't blame him. He's been
Man, he's been doing this for like 40 years. I mean, he's been going a long time.
oh yeah.
He's wrestled in 4 decades. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like they're already going to get the shot. to
Okay, I'm
him.
back. So now AEW is done with the women's match and we're on commercial.
That is true.
Anyway,
you know,
right.
if they were to give him the match anyways,
So,
why not have
I
4
am
other
going
people?
to add
this match.
on to what Zach, my good friend Zachary Bonshore has already said.
Close enough.
This made no sense.
I don't even want my name associated with this company. So I'm
This
okay with it.
made no sense.
And pardon the horrible thing. I am working on getting video going so y'all can see Jesse
Oh my God.
when he does this because it's so. I love it.
I feel so. There's some times when I watch certain wrestling things that I know you don't watch, and I'm like, damn, I wish I was Leroy. This is one of them. Why? What was the point? And then you pin Brian Pillman for what? You've been building the Varsity Blondes. You've been trying to get them over more and more with your own crowd because they don't. A lot of them probably don't watch MLW and actually good wrestling anymore. And he's been working his ass off the last 8 years.
Well, I don't
to try to get out of his father's shadow to show that what he.
Yeah,
can
but
do.
how many people there actually know the name?
Oh, you know what? You're right. This is AEW people. 50% of that crowd probably didn't even graduate high school. Let me say
they're
this.
young fans. They don't know who he is.
And I'm sorry, Jacob. Like, I love you. There is no defending this. This was, and this match went like 10 minutes. This was a waste of time. This was a waste of time.
Which, by the way, 3 of the teams I care about. The accolades or the acclaimed, whoever the hell they are.
The acclaimed. But it's funny because
they've been here for a month. They've been on Dark and Elevation
a lot longer.
There we go.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I will say this: the acclaim is probably the only team that probably at this point has a shot at taking those titles off of the Young Bucks.
I agree.
Well,
So it's this doesn't. Man, now you went upstairs and like I was explaining to Leroy.
I heard it. Don't worry about that.
Christopher Daniels has already, kind of talked about maybe retiring
Yeah.
finally. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's great.
Yeah.
And if he wants to step away from the ring, then damn it, let him step away.
Yeah.
Frankie can still go. He should get a singles push that he never got that he should have got in TNA. So I am okay with them breaking up SCU, which by the way they finally acknowledged on this show that I've noticed that technically. Scorpio Sky isn't actually a part of SCU anymore. It took you 3 weeks to do that when him and Ethan Page have been in a tag team since a week after Ethan Page debuted on Dynamite.
They also cut a promo on this show. I don't remember it because it literally made no sense.
well, with this match, they could have.
And by them, I mean literally Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
So
cut a
let
promo
me
that
do
made
that
no
real
sense.
quick because that was right after this match.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Who won this match, by the way, Leroy? Not that anybody actually cares.
It was SoCal.
SoCal.
Okay.
Honestly, with this match, to do it better, you'd critique it, and I never watched it. Take out SoCal and put the other 3 in there, and then they have those 3
Fight for the number 2 spot.
for the new 2 spot. Whoever would get that. I
Now
thought that would have been a better idea. I think.
Once again, since we rewrite AEW television and better, may I just point this out? What if? Because clearly, I think SCU is not going to beat the
No,
Outlaws.
They're losing next week.
So, okay, let's just go with the obvious. They lose next week. They're done. Christopher Daniels maybe goes off in the sunset, one last singles run before he's gone.
Yeah.
But why not have these 3 teams face off in a triple threat, and then the winner's the number 2 ranked team, and then when SCU loses and they're no longer a tag team, then it's obvious that because they're no longer a tag team, the number 1 tag team would become the number 2 tag team. Or the number 2 tag team would become number 1. Like, folks, your sports-based bullshit's literally writing your story for you. And you don't follow it.
No.
But anyway,
And
Jesse, please, this goddamn interview, which made no sense.
So
Okay.
this interview was actually right after this match. So this
No.
But it had nothing to do with the match.
Oh, it wasn't the Afterbirth.
No.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
its own friggin', I don't even know.
So
Silver?
Thank you.
Okay.
I almost said SCU. So Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page
Yes.
have been attempting to feud, or kind of now feuding, with Darby Allin and Sting. Your guy Sting, who, by the way, they beat up last week and apparently injured him. Not actually injured him, but injured him off of television.
Yeah.
That don't take much.
not in these days and age. And Scorpio Sky, he really did try, but whatever he was given was horse shit.
Oh, God.
Basically,
The reason why... No, Leroy,
Okay, yes.
before he continues, the reason why I told you they give it a promo that no one cares about because it didn't mean anything, it literally went nowhere. I'm telling you, Vince Russo had a lot of weird shit in 1999, 2000 WCW that went nowhere. This was on an island inside of an island.
No, we can't say it's not
Really?
going anywhere. Because
It's gonna get Sting over.
what happened was it clearly set up something. Because after their promo, Darby Allin comes to fight them by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, guys, listen. The trope of the stupid babyface has to stop in wrestling. New Japan understands this.
Mm-hmm.
Progress understands this. I need American wrestling to understand. Stupid baby faces don't get over. Why would you go fight these 2 dudes by yourself, you stupid idiot?
Remember, I said on the show multiple weeks ago, and this was even about something that Jesse liked. Jesse, the face is supposed to be smarter than the heel, correct? That's normally how this works?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer right now because now he's going to lose his title. He's going to lose his title. So next week, guess what? He's facing Miro. There was another interview after this beatdown angle with Miro, and Miro chose Darby Allin, and they were like, "Well, if he can't show up, he forfeits," which just tells me either way, this title is getting taken off of Darby Allin next week.
And they're only going to give it to Miro because they need to keep him happy because he's now realizing, oh shit, I'm no longer in WWE, but I couldn't do anything else.
I'm still in the same damn place I was a year ago in that company.
Actually, no, because WWE at least gave him a championship within the first year he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, they were going to push him to the moon. I don't know what happened with that, but
He was kind of an idiot, and he did too many things that, folks, I know this might sound weird, but if you watched Total Divas and what he and Lana were getting in trouble for, that's just stupid shit that any employer in real life would be pissed about you for.
Did he get in trouble with what they did in the tank?
No.
Okay.
No, they got pissed about what they did, the nude photo shoot shit down at the beach in a PG company. You're the idiots who didn't clear that with the people in front of you. Hey, folks, I'm going to be honest here. I don't care how famous you think you get. If you work for a company, you got to clear shit with them. You can't just go do your own shit. Okay?
Plus, that whole show is still connected to WWE. It's just run on Entertainment Network.
Yeah.
Sean did something funny, but he said he only did it because he needed the money.
Yeah, right. yeah, right.
That's what he says. I
So
understand.
the whole setup is stupid. Darby looks stupid because now he's going to get his ass whooped because he's not going to be 100%.
And this is one of the sadly bright young talents they actually have. Yep. He looks like he can get sympathy. He has facial expressions that are better than Kenny Omega's, despite the face paint on half of his head. He is someone who that when he gets hurt or when he misses a move, it looks like he got hurt.
Yeah.
Well, there ain't
He
much
makes
to
his
him.
shit look... But here's the deal. He makes his shit look good.
Yeah.
Well,
And they
that's
are
good.
burying him by doing absolutely nothing with one of the most talented guys on the roster. He is. End of story. Can we move on from this? All right, so after the tag match...
Oh, wait. We're not
even
done. We're not done. There's another interview segment.
There is.
I absolutely agree. The format was horseshit this whole show.
I know.
It was horseshit.
Yep.
I'm like, this
Another-
is terribly
So
done.
3
Interviews
promos.
on what's supposed to be a pay-per-view-like
It
event.
was basically 4 interviews after that last tag match. That's
Okay.
what filled up time
Okay,
before
they're either shoving
the
this
match.
down your throat or they're bending you over and
No lube.
yeah.
So
Yes,
Wow.
Jesse,
And-
please.
and it hurt.
Please help us.
So now, for some reason, Tony Schiavone is like, we're going to talk to world champion Kenny Omega. And this is how I should have known it was taped.
This was the second time he was on the show.
So I agree with Bully Ray, even though Bully Ray said something very stupid last week.
He does
I
that
agree
on
with
occasion.
him. I agree with him this week. You know how disrespectful. If I'm Scott D'Amore, I might end this relationship soon. You know how disrespectful it is to just have Michael Nakazawa just coming out there with those top championships of TNAs.
Yep.
Like they mean nothing.
Nope.
He's just collecting
And,
belts.
and here's the
Yeah.
deal. Folks, we were talking earlier about Al Sands. Now, in boxing, when the boxer comes out, he's not holding his championships, but they're held up and they're presented like they
Yes.
are true prestigious things that are behind him.
Yes.
They mean something.
Yes.
And I mean, when you got guys who both have like 4 different belts because boxing can't get their shit together, and they got 7 different belts for the same championship division.
Sometimes 12.
Exactly. But it's like
crazy.
folks, the belts are literally treated the way Naito treated the Intercontinental
Yes.
title. But that was the point. Naito was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think
that was a part of his character.
can I also point something out? The fact that New Japan is as shoot style as they are,
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the most respectful things Naito could
Yeah.
do, would be to carry on what he was supposed to be doing
Absolutely.
with the Intercontinental title. But
Absolutely.
anyway, no, Nakazawa is not holding these like Paul Heyman holds the Universal. The Universal title looks better than these 2 titles right now because Paul Heyman...
I'm sorry, that's just because the champion is more believable. Please continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach that wonderful time of summer and there's love in the air, just remember, get yourself someone who looks at you the way Paul Heyman looks at Roman Reigns. Anyway, so back to Jesse's points.
And get some oil and lube.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
second time the world champion's been on the show, because it's not like we already hadn't had enough of this guy.
So he-
pre-taped, mind
He,
you.
Pre-taped.
he comes
He
out.
can't do anything
He cuts
live.
a terrible setup promo. You guys ready for blood and guts? And then he's like, "Well, I'm not." Well, no one cares what you're ready for, Kenny. We've already seen you not care earlier. No one cares. And so Orange Cassidy comes down. Now Orange Cassidy doesn't say a word because at first Kenny is setting up the number one contender.
We
match
couldn't do
next
this.
week.
We couldn't do this a week later. Maybe, I don't know, the opening segment of Dynamite before the,
Yeah,
the
before
one-on-one
the match,
contender
yeah.
match. We're doing
That would
this
be a
the
good
same
time.
night we find out about the number one contenders match. Go on, Jesse.
So he's talking about it, but he's basically in his promo before Orange Cassidy comes out, he's just dismissing him, talking about how Pac's a great, and him and Pac have fought. And so Orange Cassidy comes out.
It was the one time I actually agreed with Kenny Omega because sadly he was right. Orange Cassidy, as of right now, the way he's been presented, is a nobody. Sorry, it was the one time that I've actually agreed with Kenny Omega.
But
The one and only time, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
he continues to almost bully Orange Cassidy, which almost feels like it's setting up the fact that Orange Cassidy is not only going to beat Pac next week, which, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen him beat Pac in Progress.
Yeah.
Pac knows how to make this match work.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. It's going to be an excellent match.
Pac will do a great job.
And Pac loses nothing, loses to Orange Cassidy
No.
because he understands that's someone they're also trying to build.
Can I
That's-
also point
that's
something
not
out,
a problem.
Leroy? When I say Jesse says that, Kenny basically just punked out, to paraphrase what Jesse said, punked him out. He took the sunglasses off of Orange Cassidy
And gave him to Michael Nakazawa.
and gave him to Michael Nakazawa. But, Leroy, here's the thing. In any wrestling company ever anywhere else,
Usually the babyface fights back.
Orange
Yeah.
Cassidy walked off.
Orange Cassidy just looked all sad.
He
and
left.
He just left. Without his glasses.
This is your next world champion, folks.
He's going to probably win that title in 3 weeks.
Well,
So, Jesse, I have a question. Can we finally get to the one thing I actually enjoyed?
So the
Is
next
it-
match is what? It's the main event, and Leroy,
it is
go
the
ahead.
main
It
event of
is
Blood and Guts, the
what it is. It is
Pinnacle.
blood. It is blood. Don't call us war games and guts. That's what I'm calling it.
Pinnacle, as
Yeah.
everybody knows, Pinnacle, MJF, Warlow, Sean Spears, and Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood,
Yeah.
FTR.
FTR, against the Inner Circle, Jericho, Jack Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz.
I'm going to take the wheel for just a second because I'm actually going to be super complimentary about
And
this
the-
for about 5 minutes.
The Pinnacle
No.
won the match. What? No.
Whatever. Pinnacle won. But
Anyway,
anyway,
yeah.
Well, everyone already knows that by now. We're reviewing it. But anyway, okay. So first of all, the Pinnacle, they come out, they look like a team. They look like they would hang out together. They look like stars. They look like what they're supposed to.
Correct.
So that was beautifully done. And by the way, MJF, from the moment the music hit till the end of the night, MJF was in my opinion, the MVP of the show of the full 2 hours because he was perfect from the moment I saw him to the moment that they cut off. But hold on. So they come out, they look like stars. Then the Inner Circle comes out, and they're dressed in jumpsuits that all have state or federal penitentiaries of the hometowns that they all live in. Not that they've been in them, but they look great. And by the way, I'm not saying this is a tribute to your boys, Gorillas of Destiny, but Santana and Ortiz had war paint. That looked great. That was amazing. Ortiz being kind of the crazy one. He had a chair. That was great. Inner Circle looked like a team. Jericho now being face, everyone chanting the song, finally makes sense. It finally works.
Yeah, it works now. Yes.
But Judas and the crowd singing was great because it fired you up. I got hyped. Jericho's pandering to the crowd like a like a general should. Like
He's one of the best ever.
yeah, no, it was great. I loved it. Then, of course, the beauty of Sammy Guevara, who was my runner-up for MVP. I'll explain.
I love Sammy, but I'll let you continue.
I'll explain it.
he had pictures up of his injuries. That looked pretty nasty.
Yes.
He might not be wrestling for a couple
Yeah,
weeks. Yeah,
Sammy,
he went through it in this match.
Sammy was my runner-up for MVP, and I'll explain why in a second. But Sammy starts the match. He actually does a lot of good work with Dax.
Yeah.
They had some good work. It was well done. They had good spots. They didn't go to the cage right away.
No.
The cage was kind of,
Yeah.
not played in right away.
Not right away.
Then Pinnacle, they're the ones who have the advantage, right? So they
Yes.
get the extra guy consistently. Sammy took a beating. The next guy in was Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears didn't do a lot, but he was like there, and it made sense.
It was like his WWE run.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But anyway, so then we'll skip ahead to my first issue with the match, because again, for some strange reason, we can't do this on pay-per-view, and we'll get into that after once we're done talking about this, then we'll talk about the formatting issue. But anyway, because Leroy, this is Blood and Guts. This is War Games, right?
Yes,
1987 at the was it the Oracle Arena?
I think it was the Oracle.
Was it the Oracle, the very first War Games, 1987? Anyway.
Well, we'll look that up.
Anyway, we'll go. Anyway, so Jesse, this is War Games. Leroy, it's time for our first, yes, I said first, picture-in-picture break.
Even though it was pre-taped.
No,
that
War
was
Games, War Blood and Guts was live. The rest of the show was taped. Blood and Guts was live. Anyway, so we go to picture-in-picture. Wardlow, this big, giant, nasty bodyguard big man, he enters in the picture-in-picture. So we get back to this. I'm confused because Wardlow's now in the match because no one watches the picture-in-picture. None of this bullshit. Nobody watches it.
No.
But anyway, so he's in the match. Then, I don't even know if I got the right order, but my MVP shows up. It's Jake Hager.
Yeah.
Why? Because Jake Hager does what nobody gets anymore, and Pat Patterson was the man that really invented it with the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
He shows up. He's got heat. He beats up everyone. He shows that he's got a real background in this.
Yeah.
He throws strikes. He is a monster. He hit with fire.
Yeah.
He was ready for this.
Oh, yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the only guy that really did it. So anyway, then we get to another beautiful moment. MJF finally gets in the match. It's a 5-on-4 advantage for about two more minutes or so.
Yeah.
They beat the holy hell out of the Inner Circle.
Oh, yeah.
Beautifully done. Folks, I'm not going to give you spots because just go watch it. It was so well done.
Yeah.
And then they get them all on the far left ring. Jericho's on the far right. Jericho is sitting there watching them get the holy hell kicked out of them. And ladies and gentlemen, MJF, he does what he's supposed to do. He does what nobody knows how to do anymore. He goes over and he just stares at Chris Jericho, and then he gets fire. This kid can build fire with no smoke. I'm not even kidding. He's
Sweet.
that good. You're okay, Leroy, quickly.
Yep.
Interject. Very first.
Great American Bash, NWA's 87 tour Omni in Atlanta.
Okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
What was the arena?
The Omni.
Oh, the
Atlanta.
Omni.
Yep.
87.
I apologize.
Basically, where I think not the Superdome, but the
Super Brawl was?
it's the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah,
Dome
okay,
is now.
okay, sorry. But anyway, okay, so, Leroy, now that we're back to the match, because I have to explain this to you because you're the one who's now hearing this for the first time. So Jericho is outside the ring. MJF goes in between the first... Goes in between the first and second ropes. He grabs the middle rope, and he's just glaring at Chris Jericho, and he's just screaming at the top of his... You could have heard him in the Jaguar Stadium.
Yeah.
He was just screaming, "You get in this ring, you're dead." He was blood and fury personified in that moment. Give him an Oscar for it. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, he's the best heel in the business, and he gets this.
Yeah.
He sadly had to do the song and dance routine, which hurt him a little bit, but anyway. So anyway, Jericho comes in. And then he finds a way to get all the heat back on the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
They're all back up. We have a great back and forth. Things are going well. It wasn't showy. There was the stare down in between the two rings before they all jumped the ropes and started beating each other up. Guys were doing what they were supposed to. There was a point where Shawn Spears might have been the fall guy with Jericho. That was great. Everyone did a fantastic job. Then we get to the point where there's the heat on everyone in the Pinnacle's down, and MJF's basically surrounded by the Inner Circle. And then more brilliance from whoever was producing the match. Thank you. Wardlow becomes the now MVP in the sense that he comes in and he just bulldozes the Inner Circle. He's a big man. He's a bodyguard. He's protecting his investment. It's brilliant. In the middle of that, we have to go to our third and final break according to Excalibur. Our third and final break in the middle of what was the most heat they had in the last 10 minutes of this match. We come back. I'm not bullshitting. Somebody comment, message me, prove me wrong. We come back. MJF's already at the top of the cage.
Yeah.
They skipped all of getting out of the cage, all of the referees who were supposed to keep the competitors in the cage. They talked about that at the top of the friggin' match. And we skipped all of the little snarky heel, which he plays way better than the Young Bucks. We skip all of his escape. And he's already at the top of the cage. We come back, and Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, we come back to Jericho halfway up the cage.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so Jericho's halfway up the cage. We get to the top of the cage. Somehow they fight it out. MJF gets Jericho in an Iranagi armbar, basically, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So Jericho's now getting the heat of, is he gonna tap? Is he not gonna tap? Is he gonna tap? Is he not gonna tap? Whatever. MJF does another gorgeous. I am literally gushing over this man's performance because he was the MVP of this 2-hour show. The MVP of the match was still Jake Hager because Hager at least got what he was supposed to do. But anyway, MJF then looks to the side of the cage. And there is this supposed concrete stage area, which again, they brought the stage to TNA when Hogan and Bischoff got there. It ruins it for me. It really does.
It really does.
Okay, it takes away so much of the ring area. I get why Vince never did it. I agree with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's now got Jericho hanging. I'm not joking. He's got Jericho by the scruff of his jumpsuit hanging off the top of the cage, and he is saying, give up or I'll drop his ass. And I mean, I want to tell you something. There was no Young Bucks wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the camera. He was pissed. MJF had fire in that crimson mask. It was great. And then the whole thing came off the rails. And before Jesse interjects, let me get to why I think it went off the rails. So now we get to where I'm confused. Sammy Guevara is 4 feet from where this is all happening. Not on top of the cage, but 4 feet on the floor.
He's on the stage.
He's on the stage. 4 feet from this happening. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, you couldn't have just caught Jericho if he got tossed, but we'll get to that in a second. Now,
logically
hold
speaking,
on.
yes.
We're not done. Then,
Yes. Yes.
Santana or Ortiz, they look like they're ready to climb the cage and save their fearless leader. And Jake Hager's still in the cage. Still inside the cage. But mind you, he's not getting beat up by the Pinnacle because they're all just now down on the outside.
Yeah.
They're gone. They're not a part of this. They don't exist anymore. So then MJF is threatening. And Sammy Guevara, God bless him, he waves his hands, tries to find a referee and say, nope, we're done. No, like we surrender. It's over. Then MJF saves it because he drops Jericho on top of the cage. He walks away. He hams it up for the crowd. He's got the arm raised. And by the way, he did bust open Jericho using the diamond ring, which, again, gets forgotten about unless it's a big event. But whatever. We fought so hard for it, but whatever. Once a year, we got to fight for this thing.
I just want you guys to remember that Scorpio Sky is the face of the revolution, too.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so here's the deal, Leroy. Now, MJF decides it's time for the proper heel afterbirth. He goes back, he picks up Jericho, and he's threatening once again to toss him over. And once again it comes off the rails because JR clearly gives no fucks. Because
No, he's getting paid. He don't care.
because was this him when Stone Cold came back with a pool cue, him and Michael Cole? When he was walking down and JR was like, is it the old Stone Cold? Oh, he's walking. He's talking. And was it that JR? No. Was it the JR when Vince got thrown in Rikishi's ass going, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Standing up, clapping? No. It was JR going, wait, no, don't do this, MJF. Don't throw him off. What are you doing? Oh, my God, the humanity. And he pushes him off. And the most anticlimactic moment ever in the history of TNT wrestling, and this includes anything Thunder ever had. Jericho hits, and the I don't even know what to call them. The tiles that were created to create the AEW logo, they implode, and they look like styrofoam. But the top looks like steel plating.
No, underneath.
No. We'll get to that.
What I'm saying though is underneath.
And then underneath.
What's worse because underneath it just looks like bedding.
And then
no. There's no way he was that hurt in the far.
It was a crash pad. You remember Stadium Stampede when they fell off into this crash pad? You heard it. You could hear the crash pad go off. But so now the image to me is Jericho, 50 years old, got tossed off a 20-foot cell onto what they claim is concrete, but is clearly tile that's like this thick. Even if it was real steel, that wasn't going to hurt falling through because it wasn't even a half an inch thick. But then there's the crash pad, and then comes, again, the formatting. I would have fired whoever did this. Then comes the best camera work of the worst show on God's fucking planet when it comes to wrestling. These motherfuckers are actually sitting here panning to Chris Jericho in a crash pad, mind you, because you can't get away from this. It's like deflating as we're watching. And while everyone's running out to check on Chris Jericho, mind you, Santana did a great job running up there, having some real. Santana was like Eddie Kingston during the explosion. I used that.
There we go.
He was frantic. He got it.
You mean the premature ejaculation?
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Yeah. The popcorn fart.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, they pan the camera to Jericho, who, I'm not even shitting you, Leroy, on live television, pops the left eye open to make sure that there's people coming over to check on him. And as soon as he realizes that they're there, I almost think he caught the camera with his eyesight.
He could have been,
possible.
yes.
Possible.
But then all of a sudden, Jericho closes the eye immediately. And Jericho is like moving. And I would kill whoever got tossed if they start. Jericho is rolling around like he just got a bad move to the head. You should be lying there. Shaq sold better.
Shaq actually sold death.
He literally sold like he was gonna die.
He sold like he was dead.
And Chris Jericho, the actual pro wrestler, is sitting there and like they even said it. He could have broken his back, but he's rolling around just as if he took a bad bump. And the thing about it is that Dean Malenko's out there. They got 60 referees. They got all this stuff. Everyone's coming out to check on him. And I just...
They didn't do that for Mick Foley.
Nope.
And he fell on a table made of cardboard off of whatever.
That wasn't cardboard. That was a straight actual fiberglass tables that they have. That wasn't supposed to break. That happened because it had to.
Thank God it broke.
Yeah,
that
thank God.
Killed
Otherwise,
him.
it would have been a lot worse. But anyway, so once again,
Plus, luckily for him, he kind of landed on his side.
True.
Yeah.
But so once again, there is glorious, amazing workers. It's working. I love everyone involved. I do. I don't hate anyone involved in this match. Sammy doesn't have height, but he's got everything else.
Yeah.
And they just, once again... And what bothered me even more was, okay, you're trying to build your spot because MJF ends with, once again, trying to save it. At this point, he can't save it. At this point, he's doing what he can. He goes, thank you to Chris Jericho, basically saying, thank you for giving me your spot in the way that you did. But
yeah, definitely.
you keep the camera on him. You keep the camera away from Jericho. Maybe you pan back for like a 4-second spot, and then you go back to MJF. No, the camera never leaves Chris Jericho, and we're watching him moving as if he doesn't have a broken back. He's moving his arms and limbs perfectly fine. Not like the doctor saying, can you move your fingers? I'm talking Chris is rolling around like he's in a freaking beanbag chair. And MJF can't save it, but hey, ladies and gentlemen, all of you out there who hate him, he's right once again. What does Vince McMahon say? And everybody can hate on Vince. What do people remember? The ending. Because what was lambasted on the internet for 3 days after it happened? It was the ending. Everyone said, hey, the match itself gave me some old-time war game vibes. I got that whole, they really hate each other. But every single person that said they loved the match said the ending was garbage. So once again, the man that you give shit to, not well, not you two, but the man
Everybody
that you
else.
out there in the internet give shit to about the way he does wrestling. And yeah, maybe he's the guy who killed wrestling from the old days. I don't know. That's a long list of things we'd have to investigate because a lot of things led to it. He didn't kill territories. They died out because they couldn't survive in the new era. That's all true. That's been proven 1,000 times over. But the guy who you claim screwed your wrestling business, folks, he once again gets proven right. And he once again gets shown why this is not a concern of his. And by the way, Jesse, I got a bunch more stuff that I want to lay out in terms of facts. But they're facts that don't have to do with the show. Your thoughts on the ending to Blood and Guts?
So the match itself was really good.
Phenomenal.
I disagree. I
Yeah.
think I actually do think Sammy was the MVP.
The only reason why I say Jake Hager is because Jake was the only guy that hit
Jake
with fire.
Jake did the big thing he was supposed to do.
It wasn't. No, Jesse. It wasn't just that he did what he was supposed to do. Jake actually got that when you hit the ring, that is your 30 seconds of I'm Jake Hager.
But like I said, I got to give Sammy a lot of credit. Remember, he's one of the guys that started the match.
Yes.
And then had to keep playing the comeback babyface, and he did it
Sammy
really,
was
really
phenomenal.
well.
A+ effort for the
so
night.
for me, I'm like, once again, I'm actually happy when I see Sammy doing well because I actually think Sammy is deeply underrated.
Oh.
And without Jericho there, it will be interesting to see what happens with the Inner Circle next.
I'll watch. Jericho will be back next week.
I swear to God, if he shows up in 2 weeks, I'm going to be pissed.
He should be gone till the pay-per-view. At least the pay-per-view.
He should
Definitely.
He should be gone for a while.
I agree.
Even though I didn't actually catch the moving part because once I saw
The crash pad.
well, because unfortunately I didn't catch the moving part. Once I saw the betting underneath, I'm like, fuck, you killed yourself again.
Yep.
Don't show that.
Right.
And I get it's hard not to because of how they built the stage for it. But just keep the cameras on MJF.
Yep.
Just keep them on MJF. Keep them on Pinnacle.
Yep.
If
They didn't show the rest of Pinnacle the rest of the night.
Well,
by
they
the way.
did once, but they showed them
They-
as they were leaving.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
tell them, hey, stage over here.
Yeah.
We'll stage a couple of you Inner Circle guys, not even like right next to Jericho as we're having the doctors come in.
Yeah.
But at least far enough, kind of selling like, oh no, what the hell? Like stage that.
Here's the deal, folks. We all know that wrestling, at this point, the veil's been removed. We get that there's a showmanship to it. I don't agree with the idea that nowadays everybody goes over the entire match. You can maybe go over spots. I agree with that. But, folks,
But something like this has to be staged.
you need to take these guys aside for like a 3-hour period that morning, and you need to make sure, as if it were its own movie scene, that they're where they need to be. X is your spot, Y is your spot, Z is your... these are those moments that Jesse's talking about, that they have to look staged.
Yes.
They have to.
And like I tell people, I will always tell you about WWE staging issues because I promise they're there.
Yes.
But this it was because I'm like, well, the veil's gone, so now everything these guys just worked hard to kind of get the sympathy for Chris and this heat for MJF, who absolutely did a phenomenal job.
There's
in
ranch
this
in there
match.
too. All right.
The ranch is actually...
I'm shocked. He's white. I thought you guys liked ranch.
I don't hate it, but
Why are you trying to be stereotypical? Jesus Christ.
But I'm also Midwestern, so ketchup, folks.
I like my ketchup and I love my topic here, right?
All right, so anyway,
But yeah, so
now that we're done with that
it's one of those
racist, Midwesternist. I don't know. I don't know.
definitely more Midwesternist than anything.
There we go.
It's. By the way, to me the worst part is that Blood and Guts had to be surrounded by what overall was not a good show. I know some people still gave it a high ranking, and there's still a lot of bias towards this company because it's very new. I'm a guy who watched a lot of these guys come up, so I had no bias towards them as far as positive. Because to me, I can't. More people seem to be willing to give them a break because they're new. I cannot, because I've watched these guys come up, and I watched the Young Bucks and Kenny talk about how they were going to try to be anti-WWE. They were always anti-WWE. And it's so easy to be anti-WWE.
They say that, yet they all considered those big money offers that Paul had for them.
And, well, here's the worst thing is no matter how anti-WWE you are, there's a reason that man is as successful as he is. Yes, there's some brutalness in that shit. Don't get it twisted. The wrestler should get insurance from him. Don't get it twisted. But, like, he gets it. He's gotten it for over 60 years now. Like, there's a reason why he's so successful. Why don't you, instead of just hating him all the time, if you want to surpass him, fine. Then go do what he did. Listen to his competitors back in the day in the territories. Well, here, let me finish.
Yeah, no.
Listen to those competitors from the
Floridas, the Carolinas.
Jim Cornette and all those guys, because that's how he got better. That's how he was able to outlast them and build an entertainment empire.
So you find what they do well, and you expand upon it, but you also find the mistakes they make and don't make them.
And the biggest problem I continue now to have with this company, and now since we're talking about it, we can now get into the so-called well, I hope it's true, kind of rumored heat that there is the fact that Kenny Omega and especially the Young Bucks. I can't believe I'm on Jim Cornette's side now about them, but I am. I'm done defending the Young Bucks ever again. It is not. They need to go back for working for someone else because they are not capable of creating for a company. They're just not.
No,
they're not.
Your thoughts on that, Leroy?
There is so many people they have backstage that know wrestling.
Can
and
we
they
list-
Go Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn is there.
There.
It's they know
Arn Anderson.
what to do. They know
Tully
a lot
Blanchard.
Even Chris Jericho on Stone Cold's podcast, on Stone Cold Session, said there's a lot of young wrestlers. They can be good if done right. Okay, Jericho, you know this.
Yeah.
You know they don't have a lot of TV, so you have to teach them. They can learn. They're not learning. They're not WWE. They want to be different. Yeah, they are totally different WWE because they fucking suck.
Now,
Plain and simple. There was
now,
somebody put up a thing
go
on
ahead.
YouTube when I watched the top 10 things why he thinks AEW sucks.
Yeah.
Everything we've said on our show.
Yeah.
He said on there.
So now,
It's plain and simple.
If I may have the floor uninterrupted for just a couple of minutes,
Maybe. We'll think about it.
We'll see what happens.
We'll consider
we'll
it.
think
We'll
about
consider. Okay. Getting into what I'm trying to get into, I said there was some stuff we had to handle afterwards once we discussed what happened on the show.
Yes.
Folks, I would like to take your attention to a little conversation that my buddy Eric, we had him on the show, Eric Nordham, he's been on the show.
All right, yes.
We had this conversation all last night. He asked a simple question.
That question on the
Where
Facebook.
do you see AEW in 5 years? I actually quoted Jessie. And I said in 5 years, I repeat, in 5 years, not in 5 months, in 5 years, I see them on TBS with the same following they've got now, the time slot, who the hell knows it's TBS. And he looked at me and he was just like, basically he gave me the typical hopium bullshit. The hopium that they're all on because they want an alternative to WWE. I'm not saying that Eric's bullshit. I'm saying that what he's saying is the same BS that everyone who's on the hopium has been on. I was on the hopium. I just apparently got off of it. I apparently went through the detox and was perfectly fine. Jesse took a little longer, but obviously he's been detoxed. But anyway, no. So here's the deal, folks. WWE and AEW supposedly had a war for about a year and a half. The NHL is no longer on NBC Sports because that's being dissolved. So the hockey rights were up for grabs. A regular season hockey event with no fans damn near triples to 10 times the rating of what AEW does.
Even WWE. I mean,
yes.
It's major sports.
So NXT moves to Tuesday. Not because of some war that they lost. Not because of being sent kicking and screaming by the demo god. They went because the NHL regular season is still going to bring in more ratings than even NXT was doing. because professional hockey has not been on American television to the level that it is now for years because NBC bought all the rights.
Yes.
It's going to be back on ESPN. I can't wait to see those games.
Yes.
I love me some hockey, and I love me some Kaprizov, but that's a whole other story.
There we go. Yep.
But anyway, so they moved to Tuesdays. Mind you, WWE's been moving their shows for their TV networks for years. It's never been a big thing to them.
No.
They've done it like they don't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, Eric's sitting here saying, and I'm not calling Eric out because Eric is more than welcome on the show. He knows that.
Yeah.
But this is a conversation we had. It's all public. You can all go back and look on it.
I did check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sits there and he brings up that bullshit 4-year, $175 million deal, which we've all sat here and done the math. If that was a professional Yankee, if that was your boys out there in New York, whether it was the Yankees or the Mets, if my God, that player's going to be paid a lot of money to work hard and do something.
In a large market, it means nothing.
But ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if they're a new program. You are in a company that, as of 2017, was worth $12.08 billion. $50 million a year ain't a lot for them.
Nope.
If the Yankees can afford the players they do, only being worth...
Remember, people forget, Turner still has baseball, which they make way more money off of.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the Yankees are the second most valuable franchise in all of sports, but they tend to spend the most money.
Yeah.
They're only worth about $4.8 to $5 billion. Turner's worth double that and then some.
Yeah.
$50 million is nothing out of their pocket.
No.
They make that on advertising alone.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, you didn't win. They looked at you. They saw a decent rating for a Wednesday night primetime, which has no primetime need on a Wednesday night because it's the middle of the damn week. Everybody's done with the Monday blues, and they're not ready for Friday yet. So Wednesday's a blah. No one cares.
Yeah.
So then... Again, I'm not repeating what I've said on the show before. I'm going to add upon. I will expand, but I have to put this out for context. Because, again, I told Eric, context has to matter. You are not a brand new show that just got renewed for 3 seasons, but you only put out 16 episodes, but you're getting paid $50 million a year. You are a brand new show that only after 6 months, which you had a show every Wednesday night for 6 months, got a 4-year renewal, but you're going to do between 48 and 50, maybe 52 shows a week. They're not even paying $1 million a show. They're basically covering whatever arena costs they're eventually going to get when they go back to live shows, and then TBS is just getting gravy off this shit. So guess what? The context doesn't make sense to what you're saying. A new company getting renewed right away, hey, that's something. But not at that price. Vince McMahon is producing highly better quality shows. He's got 8K cameras on SmackDown. Folks, guess what? He ain't spending a dime of his own money because it's all Fox's money.
I'm pretty sure they bought SmackDown for...
220-some million.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to point something out here. The point of being successful...
Actually, no.
It was more than that.
It was way more than that.
It was like 250, 300
No,
million.
I think it was close to $500 million they paid for WWE rights.
They might have.
And then I go, ooh,
But anyway, okay, so back to my point.
Plus Fox, that's a national network.
Yeah,
Even-
no, exactly.
True,
Everyone
it did,
can
yeah.
watch
Yeah,
it.
but so folks, the point of being successful in business is to never spend your own money. It's spend somebody else's. They're not spending TNT's money. TNT pays for them to own the arena for that night. Because that's how wrestling has worked from the dawn of time. You essentially purchase the building for that night. You own it. You can do what you want. Stephanie's been the number one person on camera who said, get out of my building. So she shows they own that for the night.
Yeah.
But folks, the context has to matter. The context of what Eric said was in 5 years, he sees them on TNT doing 1.8 to 2 million viewers a week, and he said, and I quote, competing with SmackDown.
Not going to happen.
Now, before
I
we
love you, Eric.
now here's the deal. We're not ripping on that. What I'm trying to say is that's fine to have an optimistic view. And I hope that happens because I want this sport to be great. But folks, we are almost 2 years into this garbage. They have not proven what. Okay, boys, jump in if you like. Correct me on these points. Have they once proven they care about ratings going up?
Nope.
I mean, they care about ratings.
Only if they're beating NXT.
No. They care about ratings anytime they feel like they've beaten WWE at anything in ratings. They care.
Now, hold on.
Other than that, they don't
Number
care.
2.
Which there is a small chance that this week they finally caught up to Raw for Blood and Guts as far as the
Actually,
ratings.
no.
It was 1.3 last time I checked.
Nope. The official rating was 1.09.
What did Raw do? 1.3.
About the same they normally do, yeah.
So. They're
But
getting there.
hold on. Now we're getting to the next point where the hopium blinds you to that rating.
Raw is hard to watch for 3 hours.
Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen.
I watched for about 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, once again, you have proven that on a big night that you promote, that you talk about, you still can't beat Raw. You still can't beat Raw. By the way, here's the deal. They have only done $1 million about a half dozen times in almost 2 years. The debut, the next week, and the third week. They all went down from the first week. Then it was the Sting thing, but Sting was the rating.
Yep.
Then it was the past 3 weeks. No, sorry. It was the first 2 weeks unopposed, and then you went back to your 880,000 because it was a regular show where you weren't doing anything special. And by the way, every time NXT did something special, they beat AEW in the ratings. Every time they had a big event, Great American Bash was obviously, in my point, the turning point where Vince stopped caring. Folks, here's the deal. You did 1.09 on a big Blood and Guts. Cool. You couldn't beat Raw. You didn't beat... And by the way, Jesse, they should beat SmackDown because it was a big event. SmackDown had a weak show by their standards.
I got to be honest, though. There's a reason. There's a reason SmackDown does better. I can tell you why SmackDown does better. Because they have stars you actually care about.
But now hold on. Now back to this context that I'm talking about. So here's the deal.
They have mid-carders you actually care about.
Right?
On SmackDown.
Yeah. Here's the deal. They've proven...
That includes Baron Corbin. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Right?
I almost puked in my mouth saying, the look that you just gave me.
Leroy just gave him
oh
my God.
Like, should I get you tested? Are you high?
Jesse might be. It wouldn't be the first time you've been high on the show.
We don't have a drug testing policy in our company, but maybe
we don't. Maybe we should.
Maybe
But anyway, back to my point.
That's going to cost
money.
money.
They have become, AEW, all about the instant gratification. I have a question. Do you think they can average $1 million? But here's the deal. I want to preface before you answer my question.
I think next week they're going to do 1.4, but continue.
Nah.
Can they average $1 million over a year without a Sting-type moment, without a Blood and Guts night? Can they do it with their basic program?
No.
Folks,
No.
but okay, now that Jesse's answered that, and Leroy, you agree, yes?
Yes, I totally agree.
Folks, you can't do Blood and Guts 52 times a year. You can't!
No.
Folks, these guys did not even say 3 weeks we have a pay-per-view. You couldn't give me FTR versus Santana Ortiz. You couldn't give me Hager. I'd say Hager versus Spears. Save the big dudes. Don't put the big dudes up there. You couldn't have Sammy versus Wardlow. That'd be a hell of a match right there. Big guy versus Wardlow. You couldn't have MJF and Chris Jericho in a 6-way, in an 8-man, in a sterile. You had 3 shows. That was all. 3 nights, 6 hours. And you gave it to me on free television? You didn't even make me pay the $50, which I never do because it's already on YouTube the next morning.
Want to know why, though, they did Blood and Guts now?
I don't care why.
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, all right.
So, next week...
He don't care, but I care.
Leroy cares.
Next week, they're having a legend, an actual star, fight Jon Moxley. His name is Yuji Nagata. Now, you probably don't know who that is. Their audience don't know who that is.
Which is sad.
But New Japan's numbers are so good in this country... They're actually going to do a good number.
But that's
week.
not even because of Blood and Guts. It's
know.
because of something else.
But that's what I'm saying.
And it's not even their belt.
No, it's not.
It's the New Japan belts.
It's New Japan's second best belt.
New Japan is doing what Impact should be doing and actually going to get a number off of this. Impact ain't getting shit out of this thing, but New Japan's going to get the number.
All New Japan gets is more free publicity in this country.
Exactly.
That's all they want.
But see, folks, here's the deal. now I get to my biggest point about this whole thing before we move on. I am once again not happy about this. I'm right.
Yes.
Here's the deal. And Jesse, I'm going to throw it to you,
Okay.
Mr. I was actually hopeful and was trying to defend them to begin with. Here's a question for you, and you know what? I'll talk to Eric about it at some point because he's probably going to listen. What have I been wrong about from the moment I started shitting on AEW? They've done everything I said they were going to do. They've done everything that I said was going to happen. I haven't been wrong. They haven't proven me wrong.
Unfortunately not.
You can't defend these guys. And don't give me this bullshit that they're going to start fighting SmackDown at some point.
That's not
Because
gonna
I'm sitting here
happen.
looking at myself like, they can't average 850,000 without a pre-taped bullshit promo. They can't do it without Sting, who's not going to be around for 10 years.
No.
They can't do it without Big Show, who, by the way, was a letdown. Christian was the biggest letdown. They can't do it with their own stars. They're recycling older dudes. And then you have a big Blood and Guts, which, okay, maybe it was 1.3 at its peak, but the final was 1.09.
Yeah.
But then you got to sit here, and originally Dirt Sheet Radio on Facebook reported that AEW had the worst week maybe ever in wrestling because they only did 459,000. That was misquoted. They did 761,000, which is a good number for NXT. But then if you compare it to the 1.09, you barely beat NXT. If NXT doubles the number, they outdo you. You couldn't double NXT, which was a good show, and my God, we'll get to one of the best moments I've had in wrestling in 10 years.
Yes, it's on here.
It's on here. We'll get to
we
it.
have to.
Because, God damn, that bitch deserved what she got. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I will almost cry when we get to that. But, ladies and gentlemen, back to this point. You couldn't double NXT on a normal fucking night.
No.
I'm sorry, but if we put it into context and we take the hopium out of it, when have I been wrong? It's been a bad Thunder parody of 2000's WCW.
I don't know if it's been as bad as Thunder, but it's close.
It's getting there.
They're a parody
bad.
of what was once good in the wrestling business. And by the way, I don't know what your guys' opinion on this is. I hate time limits in wrestling. Personally, I think it kills the show.
I don't have a problem with it if it's done well.
Fair.
So, once again, I can't believe I have to go outside this country, but sometimes, like I tell you, Leroy, sometimes you have to go outside this country to find really good, consistent wrestling.
Oh, that's true.
You just do. I mean, Impact is doing a lot better, but between them and MLW, they're not as well known as these two companies.
But they're back in the U.S., not in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I just consider it all
Canada.
that North America.
Yeah. I get you.
Japan does the time limit, but they're very good at it. You see their undercard gets 20. They give them the 20-minute limit. And then you get to the upper card matches. They give them the 40-minute. The main event
gets 60.
Is 60.
Have they ever done just a no time limit, or is that not their thing?
Once.
Okay.
Or a few times. But it's very special when they do it.
Okay.
Basically, so I believe
Tanahashi could probably walk in, ask for it, and they might consider
the last Kenny and Okada match was technically no time limit.
Okay.
And it made sense story-wise.
because of the tie.
Because they had the tie and they had split the other matches, and they were like, story-wise, it makes sense to just finish each other this time. Somebody win.
But just Leroy, you and I have been talking about this before we even invited Jesse on the show. You have not. I mean, you haven't watched as much as I have. But what I've explained to you, Jesse can say, I've never explained it so outlandishly that I've been wrong about what happened. I've never embellished to the point where I was wrong. I've embellished to the point where maybe I overblew certain things. Oh, look, call me a hater, call me a nitpicker, that's fine. But it's hard to ignore these things if you're a smart wrestling fan. And the other thing about it is Leroy, now I shoot to you. Jesse came in. We'd done the show a couple of months before you came in. I think it was about 3-4 months before we finally got the show.
I think so.
But in those 3-4 months, was I ever wrong when I made a prediction? Was I ever wrong when Jesse lost a bet because of one of my predictions?
And I'm not even their biggest fan.
Leroy, have I been wrong?
No, you haven't. I mean, I haven't watched that much just because, honestly, I was like, okay, this kind of sucks. I want to actually see something entertaining that I can enjoy. Some of their stuff is good, but it's like you want to
They've
be
gone from
you want to be
bad
different
wrestling.
from WWE.
They've
you
cleaned
are.
up a bunch of the wrestling stuff, but now they
Hold
just
on.
don't know. Hold on.
No, I want you to finish, but hold on. And that Leroy didn't even realize he hit the nail on the head. That is the problem. That is the problem. You want to be different than WWE. Well, you are.
But it's
Not in a good way.
No, not totally in a good way. I mean, you have our boys, top flight, good wrestlers.
Dante's hurt.
Put on
obviously.
Dante is hurt, yeah.
put on
Dante's hurt.
good shows.
By the way,
one-on-one they
Gene
could be
messaged
fine.
me after Darius had his match on Dark this past week. He was glowing about Darius. He loved Dante's
Watch
match.
it. Watch it.
It was Dante's last
Darius
match.
is hurt.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Darius hurt. No.
They're good.
No.
Wait, does
Dante-
Darius have the afro or is it Dante?
It was Dante's match before he got hurt, so it was a
Okay.
pre-taped Dark.
Okay.
It was Dante's last match before he got hurt. But Gene was like, holy shit!
On
And I'm
Dark,
like, yes.
they gave the one who's not hurt the main event. He was fucking phenomenal. He was so good.
Me and Zach have seen both of the brothers live here in independent shows. They put on great matches.
And
They
they'll botch,
are
but they're
good.
young. We get it. I mean,
They're good.
But
not
I got to
saying-
give him credit,
It's-
and maybe it's because Danny Limelight has a little. He wrestled Danny Limelight, who's
Yeah.
also kind of an underground, real well known, especially on the West Coast.
Danny's not a bad worker. Danny's not a bad worker
He's
by any
excellent.
means. Yes.
New Japan wanted to sign him, but he wants to stay here because he has family. But
Yeah.
because he was working New Japan Strong for a while there.
Yeah.
They didn't botch once. That kid gets babyface wrestling. Sometimes the heel will use a tactic to get above you, but at some point you got to be smarter than the heel. He gets it in the match. I'm telling you, watch it. It was. I was so impressed that I'm like, dude, because Cody usually runs Dark. If I'm Cody, and maybe there is actual heat. So apparently the story is that there's some heat between the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks, and Cody. If I'm Cody, I go, you know what, guys? It just hasn't worked. This hasn't worked. Even my shit's suffering now because I'm doing too much.
Yep.
I think Cody's shit is suffering because he's doing too much.
Yes.
He's trying to run the factory. He's doing the stuff with his wife. Like, I'm doing too
He's
much.
living in Atlanta but filming in Jacksonville. I don't give a damn what anybody says. A 5-hour trip down and a 5-hour trip back in the Nightmare bus, a 10-hour trip, that's going to screw you up for a couple of days.
So
yeah.
I think
We've done drives less than that and
Right.
screwed us up for a couple of days.
God. Yes.
I think he is finally understanding what Vince and those. Well, I mean, some of the producers are just ass kissers in WWE's past, but
I agree.
but what Vince and Paul Heyman understands is that you have to book where if there's a time you're not going to show up, at least your assistants can run the show and it's still on beat.
Can I
You're
just
hitting
say
all
this?
your points.
I feel like Vince doesn't book terribly by design. I feel like sometimes his booking suffers because he thinks too far ahead. I think by booking your WrestleMania card a year in advance and then working backwards, I think that is what makes things fall through the cracks sometimes. But the problem is that he's still more consistent in his booking. Even if he drops things, he drops them and ignores them. But the problem is that AEW, they don't drop things and ignore them. They drop them and then somehow they bring it back up even though they're never going to refer to it again. I'm not even kidding. Excalibur talks about things that AEW dropped off of Dynamite 4 months ago. He still brings it up.
Yeah.
And it's just no. It's just if there's heat, it's because Cody is finally sitting there and realizing our honeymoon period is dead. It's gone.
Yeah.
We now have to work at the relationship. We have to fight. We need New Japan. Not we want to work with. They need New Japan.
Yeah.
They do.
They sadly they need Impact.
They do need Impact.
No company in the history of professional wrestling has needed Impact.
Well,
And AEW is proving they need Impact. And don't give me this bullshit, which everyone's going to throw in my face with the hopium of, well, what do you mean they need them? They have a better rating. No. They brought them in, and they are now the main event scene. TNA Impact are now part of the main event scene. They couldn't even write their own main event scene without bringing somebody else in. Don't tell me that that's not showing need.
Yeah.
Folks, I want this company to be the best alternative to WWE possible. I do. I want wrestling to go back to selling arenas out to the point where there's 80,000 signs. Forget the people. There's 80,000 signs. I want the fans to jump out of their damn seats again for every... I want them to jump out of their seats for the mid-card matches like they used to in the Attitude Era. I want that. I want people to hop the rails because they think that the heels are actually that bad. I want to see the Associated Press put another Jim Cornette story in where he hits a fan with a tennis racket because he thought Bobby Eaton was actually screwing with somebody. I want wrestling to be that hot again, but it ain't gonna happen with shit like this.
No.
And it's not even because it's not good. It's because you don't have any idea how to present it. The Bucks did not get themselves over. And I don't care if I've said it before, they have. What got them over was New Japan. What got them over was the booking of Ring of Honor. They are not the reason they were successful. Proof positive as to why you are not the reason for your success. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been over since the day he became Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's still over in his post WWE life. Yep. He is still over. He makes successful television shows. His podcast is incredibly well liked. He makes it work. He's over. He did it, but he got himself over because Vince was hesitant that entire run. You remember that? Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I don't know about. Is this really like Stone Cold got himself over?"
He did. Wow.
Guys, Ring of Honor got you over. New Japan, they didn't even like you when they got you over. They just got you over because, like you said, the Tongas gave them the blessing.
There's a machine over there, and it just works.
Folks, I hate to be that guy, but at the end of the day, who in that company that left the WWE is more over now? Miro is a shell of what Lana is now.
Yes. And I
Christian came in as this big signee, and it was a dud. Big Show, there was all the intrigue of what he could do. He's just commentating. Not a bad job, mind you, but he's just commentating. Tony Schiavone, back on TNT with Jim Ross after years of being away. You did nothing. You are built on a foundation of these things. You are built on a foundation of Sting, formerly of WCW, now WWE. You are built on a foundation of old WWE producers that no longer WWE had any use for. You are built on Cody Rhodes, former WWE. You are built on Dusty Rhodes' legacy, former WWE NWA. You are built on the Young Bucks, WWE hate. You are built on Kenny Omega, New Japan. You are built on everything that Prince DeVite once built in New Japan. You are built on Chris Jericho, fully WWE, mind you.
You already said what they are actually built on. They are built.
I'm talking.
No. This company.
I know what the cornerstone is. Yes,
is built on what Prince Devitt, Finn Balor built in New Japan.
Agreed.
They are built on they are built in the ass crack of what he built over there.
That's all they deserve right there.
Is that a guy who is barely referred to on your show, even though he's on every week, you are built on the back of Machine Gun. You are built on the back of Bad Luck Fale. Yeah. You are who's never been on AEW television and has no desire to be on AEW television. Folks, we're going to move on only because we have so much cool stuff to get to. But the fact of the matter is this. I am once again right because I choose to add all of the context. If you want to believe what Eric said of $50 million a year, then fine. That's the end of your conversation. It's $50 million a year. I'm sitting there saying $50 million a year, 48 shows to 50 shows. Folks, if you add all of the context, I have yet to be wrong, and I don't want to be right that they're just a TBS joke in 5 years. But folks, name one reason I am wrong, and by the way, name it with all the context. Context is the point I'm trying to make. When you put things in context, the context is, in real life, Logan Paul has no business being in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. But if you say Floyd Mayweather's going to jump on the fame of the Paul brothers to make some more cash, then I get it. But the full context is that it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Well, all I have to say about AEW, the only thing bright spot hopefully going to happen is the Flip brothers get on NXT.
Top Flight?
Top Flight. to flip NXT. I would hope to God.
I'll say this about the $50 million, man. If I wasn't so focused on what I enjoy, which is this and doing Twitch, and finally getting Jay's Take back off the air, which I plan to. We'll get to that at the end of the show.
All right.
I would talk to Eric and be like, dude, let me work with you for 2 years. Whatever your creative team is going to do, I bet you I can get you on a local TV show in a year and a half, because I know you're going to do a better job of writing stories than what these assholes do now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can move on.
Okay.
All right.
So
Where are we heading next?
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Not an assholeville, I know that.
yep. So, ladies and
That'd
gentlemen,
be stinky.
Unless we're talking about Charlotte Flair, then I mean it's not a stinky asshole.
Well,
It's a
we're-
pretty.
ladies and gentlemen,
She's on.
Blood and Guts.
Oh, is she on there?
Number 10.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Blood and Guts.
no.
I
Oh, no.
Blood
Yeah,
and Guts.
yeah.
My final opinion is a 3.5, only because only for two reasons. A, was clearly not a 5-star show overall,
No.
and B, I take another half off for the absolute garbage ending.
Yeah, there you go.
So-
I agree with you there.
So 3.5 out of 5, I think that's fair based on the fact that you can't prove to me. And by the way, even the lounge when we all voted, most people went for a 4. Nobody took the 5. So the lounge, who's even maybe gonna get on me and be like, "Yo, you're a little harsh." Y'all didn't give it a 5.
I gave it a 3.6.
Yeah.
I thought the match itself was so damn good.
Yep. So now we're gonna get through some quick stuff, but some fun stuff to talk about. Double or Nothing. They are asking for full capacity. That is what Tony Khan has promised, folks. The state of Minnesota will lift their mask mandate as of July 1st if we continue upon the trend that we've been on.
I thought it was July 31st.
July 1st.
July 1st.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
May
July
28th is when they want it to be.
I thought it was
Ju-
May 30th.
No.
May 28th.
No.
Okay.
May 28th, Memorial Day. Restaurants and stuff like that can have full capacity.
Okay.
But the mask mandate will be lifted by Governor Walz if he can get up to 70% vaccination by July 1st. For those of you saying that's a lot because Minnesota is a fairly big state, 473,000 more people get it, we're done. So, folks, here's the deal. We are coming out of this pandemic, but we're not there yet. I'm sorry. I'm worried because of the state they're in. Florida has not been doing well. They are kind of a cesspool for this stuff.
There's cesspool, period. But
Well, yeah. But it's just
gosh darn college.
I'm
anyway.
just saying, you meet a woman down there, you might as well grab 3 condoms. I mean, you won't enjoy it, but at least you'll be safe.
Right?
It's like throwing a hot dog down the hallway.
No. You throw the hot dog down that hallway, that hot dog dies of disease quickly.
And it's already a dead piece of meat. Anyway, but anyway. So back to the point. I mean, Jesse, you give WWE credit. Maybe they didn't start off the best, but they've been overly cautious. They've done a good job. People are at least not getting long stays away. They take the 2 weeks off, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not causing a big issue. There's not a petri dish of problems coming from what WWE's been doing, and they haven't spoken on getting back to arena shows because they have no idea.
People have to remember.
Is it too early to fill up Daly's place?
So, I mean, because Vince's big thing has always been he likes to move, especially just the main shows, Raw, SmackDown, around.
Yeah.
Because, it's nice to kind of see the different cities show up. You get a different crowd. It's kind of nice to get their kind of feel on things.
Yeah. That is one of the things that, while I agree it made NXT, it was one of the things that kind of sometimes wore you out about NXT was the crowd was almost trained. And it wasn't that WWE trained them, it was the same Full Sail crowd.
Well, I'll say it was a very independent friendly crowd.
Yes.
So
yes.
even if it was WWE and Grow Talent, they were going to give you a chance because they're used to giving wrestlers at least a chance.
Yes.
The show's a chance to at least try to succeed.
Right, exactly.
Which actually why I actually ended up floating to NXT because I kind of like that. Like we're giving young people a chance. We're giving these young up and coming wrestlers a chance.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be along on the journey of their development into greatness.
Yeah.
Though now, to be fair to NXT, there's no point in call-ups because they sometimes just do them very shittily.
Fair enough.
But listen, man, there's a reason that his dad went and bought the Jaguars. he has an understanding that he can get away with a lot of shit in Florida. He's a smart man. He understands that. There's a lot he doesn't have to deal with.
Well, that's also why he
Florida.
bought Wembley. Was Wembley's going to fill itself up with some of the greatest acts in soccer, music, all this stuff, and he just has to own the building.
And what he understood about buying a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars is this basic. I mean, people don't realize the team is younger than me. It just entered the league in '96, I believe.
They're younger than me. Everyone on this show. 96, Allison's only 2 years removed from that, basically. So, 96, the Jaguars entered the league.
Is when the Jaguars entered the league.
That was 3 years after I got out of high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not that old of a team.
They're young, yes.
What people have to understand what Jesse's getting at, and not to take your point, but to kind of elaborate on it, there's no expectations in the Jaguars.
No.
This is maybe the first time ever they've got expectations because, yes, look, a lot of teams get the number 1 overall pick, but who gets a number 1 overall pick who, unless they go 17-0, will lose his first regular season game of his life?
I was ready to actually
year.
come here today and give you your bet back and tell you that if Trevor Lawrence is not on the show this week, because I know you said Trevor Lawrence might be on the show next week, AEW. Since
we were saying that there's a good possibility.
I expect Travis Etienne to be on first because Travis
is actually a fan of wrestling.
Yeah.
But I almost was gonna be like, you know what? Do you want your bet back? Because I'll bet Trevor will be on the show in full gear, ready to throw a football to Cody for no fucking reason next week. But yeah, they should not be, but they're going to. They're going to. I mean, they do. He's not just the demo god. He's the COVID god as well. So,
yeah,
they'll have full capacity.
I'm becoming infected with COVID. The COVID in my bloodstream.
They're gonna do it.
Credit music and lyrics done by Jim Cornette and Brian Last of the Jim Cornette Experience.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a good idea.
It's a terrible idea. And I know people are feeling good about the vaccination stuff. I gotta say, man, I would be cautious because Britain was a little bit ahead.
Yep.
And they were feeling pretty good. And then they had to relock down.
Well, but this is why I've liked Joe Biden, and I'm not speaking politically. I'm speaking on how he's handled COVID since he walked in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because here's the deal. If you go from the point when he walked in where COVID was to where we are now, he still hasn't laxed.
No.
But he has at least given hope that we can get better. But he's prefaced it by saying we still have to make the right steps.
Yes.
So again, this is not a political anti-Republican take. This is just a straight-up take of what someone has done and said. He has given hope while at least maintaining that there is darkness still there.
Yeah.
The light is visible, but it has not taken over the darkness, basically.
Am I right that all three of us...
Oh, yeah.
You got yours?
I have not. I get mine this week.
Okay, cool.
The second one, right?
First one.
Okay, the first
one.
one.
Yeah,
well,
I said I got mine.
The thing about it is that, but again, going back to Biden,
a little bit harder since I have my doctor just came back full time. So.
Right, yeah. But Leroy, here's the deal though. But the reason why you and I have never had a problem doing the show, and you've had COVID, Jesse.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You've had COVID.
Yeah.
Is because we know that outside of that 1-2 week period for him, he's been as safe as he possibly could be. And the truth is, you and I have both been lucky working with the public that we've been non-infected based on, and you and I have been incredibly safe from day one, but we're still lucky. Jesse just got unlucky.
Yeah, and I said I have another thing to worry about too, and I've been incredibly safe and lucky that my mom, breast cancer survivor,
right.
Her immune system isn't that great.
No.
She's never been exposed to anything. I've never exposed to anything. We've been careful.
Yep.
You know, I always hugged my mom a lot. Well, for the last year, I didn't do it that much.
Yep.
Well, and I'll say this about
I haven't seen my mom's mother, who lives not even 10 minutes from my door. I haven't seen her in over a year and a half.
Yeah.
And you know what? If that means that at 93 she's still around for another 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 years, depending on how healthy she is, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And both my mom and me are vaccinated.
Yep.
I haven't gone through the 2 weeks yet, but still yesterday. And I'll do shout out Happy Mother's Day to all those damn mothers out
Yep.
there.
Happy Mother's
Yep.
Day.
And all the ones
Happy-
that want to be mothers.
Happy Mother's Day to the wrestling women who have just
Yes.
been absolutely
And then
phenomenal.
as well.
But-
and,
and
in what they've done.
yeah,
So.
and I gave Mom a good hug yesterday.
I
Because
texted my
could.
mom, but see, we don't really celebrate Mother's Day at my house, and one of the biggest reasons is that my mom is just one of those people who's like, Christmas and Thanksgiving are obviously different and special because it's a family thing, but she doesn't like Father's Day, she doesn't like Mother's Day, she treats it like any other day, mostly because she doesn't want her kids to make her feel special one day out of the year. We should be doing that 364. She doesn't like to have us have expectations
Yeah.
for only one day.
Yeah.
But that's my family. I'm probably the only person in the world who, if I didn't text her today, she wouldn't have cared. She was very thankful that I did because that's my mom, but she probably wouldn't have cared. But anyway.
Well, I said I talk to my mom all the time. I got her favorite little gift from Quick Trip, the cream-filled Long Johns with
So good.
chocolate icing on it.
So
she
They're
loves
pretty
those.
good. They're really
Not
good.
very healthy, but she loves
Nope.
them.
But it's just, I'm with you guys. I don't like this. I think that we are. I think this is a prime example of. Look, the NFL said we want full capacity, but they're even saying we want it in the fall. So they're going to let 90 days go by. They're going to let 120 days go by where hopefully people are still getting vaccinated.
I promise you, if there's any hiccups this summer, Roger Goodell will be like, yeah, no.
Hey,
Like, yeah,
He's
no,
being smart and
absolutely.
saying, no,
hey,
we're not
here's
going
the
to do
deal.
this.
Here's the deal. With vaccinations out, there's no reason why they can't do 256 games like they did last year. There's no reason why they can't.
You forgot
more
there's
people than
17 weeks this
Maybe
year, so there's 17 games this year.
It's going to be more, yep.
Yeah, so it's more than 256.
Yep.
Well, I think they can they can do it, have more people in there.
The issue I had was with
They don't have
baseball
the-
talking about, well, you know what, you can fill your stadiums up. Like, you guys are they're so desperate for fans, period, like AEW, that you are willing to do anything just to have them there. You know what? That's a great comparison
Yep.
of this issue, actually, as it is.
Yep.
Baseball used to be America's pastime. There's a reason it's not.
Yep.
Look in the mirror sometimes, guys.
There's a lot of reasons.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
and yes, all those reasons are their own fault.
They're
I
their
agree.
own damn fault.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the biggest issues they had the last 10 years is that young people just don't give a damn about baseball. And one of the biggest reasons they don't give a damn about baseball is baseball's almost become like golf in a sense. It feels too rich. It feels very too old school. They don't like any new blood in it.
You know, it's interesting that you
And
say
they're
that.
very bad with communication.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
It's
with
interesting
it.
to say
They
that
are.
when a baseball player gets a big contract, you never really hear anything more about them struggling. When an NFL player gets that money, because it's not guaranteed, they still have to work for it. You sign a baseball contract, it's guaranteed. You get it no
The
matter
only time I
what.
start talking about the contracts is when fans are like, so I think what technically that was 10 years ago. Golly, me and Leroy are getting old.
I was there.
Yeah, but you were a teenager back
I
then.
was 19.
I guess that's not too bad.
You're still a kid.
I still probably understand what he's saying.
I was in my freaking 30s.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
I was in my 30s 10 years ago, for Christ's sakes.
The 1930s, right?
Oh, yeah.
So about 10 years ago, a pitcher got $200 million. By the way, this wasn't the Yankees. This was the San
Yeah.
Francisco Giants. And like 3 years in, he was not playing very well. If you guys don't know who I'm talking, I'll let you go look it up. You can read the stories. They're immaculate. Baseball media never talked about it for like 2 years, how bad he had been pitching for 2 years. But baseball fans could tell, this kid's fucking terrible now. Something's wrong, and he's making way too much money. But if baseball fans wouldn't have said anything, they wouldn't have talked about it. Here's why this relates to AEW. So recently, they had to refund some money.
Yep. 5 people wanted refunds.
If you keep doing some of the shit you're doing, your own fans will call you out.
They're already calling them out on minor things, but the problem is like you said, if you don't fix the minor things, the major issues are eventually going to become so glaring there's nothing you can do about it.
And it gets to a point where this and baseball still does very well. They
Yes.
still
Yeah.
they still do about 15 to 20 million viewers.
Yeah.
But
AEW wishes they did that. In a year, they wish they did that.
they won't.
No.
But this is a pastime that used to get at least 40 million on regular TV, and that was a low amount.
Yep.
You actually need to care. So the thought process of
games, your Jets still averaged better ratings last year before they started winning. They were averaging better ratings in their local market.
That's true.
Than AEW's gotten in a worldwide market. What is that? And the Jets, Jesse, I love you. They were trash last year.
They were garbage.
Even
they
though
were
they are
trash.
Loyal fans. I mean,
I don't know why
that's
are.
it.
But the
Loyal
national,
fans.
audience still watched more Jet games than they're watching AEW
Hell,
television.
non-Jet fans were watching Jet games just to see how bad they were.
And see if they could actually pull it a win.
And then when we did, everyone was laughing at us because they're like, why would you give up Trevor Lawrence? Anyway, I won't get into that because I'll get depressed. But
he's not wrong. I almost watched this man cry on draft night.
I got close. But how this relates to them maybe doing full crowds? Just can you once just be a smart company, Tony? Can you just stop talking all the time? Shut the hell up.
That ain't gonna happen.
Has any son of a billionaire ever wanted to be more of an attention hog than this guy?
I used to think Shane was bad.
Right?
This Tony is horrible.
Yeah, but Shane could work. Shane could actually get in the ring and work.
Yeah, that's true.
Shane's never been a bad worker.
No.
Listen, Shane is definitely not the greatest wrestler in the world.
No.
But he puts his good 2 cents.
But he's not the worst.
But he gives you a hell of an entertaining match when he's in a match.
Yes.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, even outside of the business, like he didn't talk as much. Like, Tony, shut up. Like he just not only was he mentioning that, he was mentioning like, we want all the Jaguar fans there, and he was talking about like something with the Jaguars. And it's like, Tony, shut the hell up.
Next thing you know, he's going to start talking about his European soccer fans, telling them to make the trip over the frickin' pond to come to it too. Like no.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Are you Curdy?"
Let's move on to
not gonna watch
WWE
him.
before I get disgusted.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Uso's back.
Yes, he is.
He was given a moment. I loved it. And you know what? He was the star of that show.
Oh, yeah.
Because very rarely do I say this. I have nothing to say bad about Jimmy's return to SmackDown because everything was handled beautifully.
Oh, what?
As a first night back, Jimmy was on point.
Oh, yeah.
Jay was great.
Oh, yeah.
Roman was, I think, a level up from what he once was. Even from what he once was. I mean, everything was great. I have nothing bad to say. I don't think look, folks, I don't think it bears talking too much about yet because there's a lot coming. But, folks, it was so good. Jimmy coming back, being Jimmy, not adhering. Again, we'll talk about it more when more develops, obviously, because only week 1. But it was so good. Loved it.
It was definitely, it's like, I'm not going to be your bitch. It's like, damn.
Cannot wait for more of it. It's so much.
It's one of those things. By the way, this is what long-term storytelling looks like. Because there was some confusion, like, well, why did he come back and shake Roman's hand at first? Well, because that's his cousin.
They're still family.
But what was nice, which, it's, and you could just tell this is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman runs SmackDown.
Yeah.
Excellent storytelling once again. Is the first thing he tells his brother is like, dude, listen, man, this stuff you've been doing for him, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's just like, this stuff you've been doing for him, like, bro, we could be tag team champions now that I'm back. Like, why are you worried about him? He got him.
Right.
Well, let's go do us.
Because, I mean, truth be told, folks, even though, and by the way, Jay Uso has been one of the biggest breaths of fresh air I've seen in a long time. He's been great. In reality, outside of really getting more of a main event look, not even spot, just look, what has Roman really given Jey Uso other than more of a look? I mean, that's really all he's gotten.
Time.
Fair.
In wrestling, that's huge.
Yeah.
Time.
Well, that's huge backstage. I mean, on camera.
No, I mean on camera. Time.
No.
Main event matches.
But no. But the on camera. I mean, but has Jey Uso had a singles run as a champion yet? Has he gotten what it is?
Well, no.
No, but that's my point. Is that Jimmy has really said, you've gotten something out of it, but is it as much as you could have?
Well, so basically what he was saying was, you've gotten something out of it, but Roman's gotten more
Exactly.
from you.
Yeah, you're just being a lackey. You're not getting anything else.
We
so.
had Throwback SmackDown. I think it could have been done better if it wasn't for COVID. I'm blaming COVID more so.
I'm not being that nice about that CGI.
Okay.
No.
Let's stop for 1 second.
No.
Let's stop before I'm going to let you speak in a second, Leroy, because I know he was going to. I don't know if he's going to try to defend that horse crap. Let me get into this. Let me get you, Vince, you son of a bitch. You, the billionaire. As much as I get on Tony Khan, dude, just make a replica set. It wouldn't have been hard. Gosh, I bet you they still have that that beautiful fist in the warehouse somewhere.
It's still in the warehouse.
It's still in the warehouse.
Go get it.
Yep.
Just go get it.
They could have done that, put it up. Yeah, that would have been good.
SmackDown wasn't around in the 80s. You want to know? Here's what they did. This pissed me off. And it almost ruined the show, but the show's so damn good it didn't ruin the show. Let me say this.
Paul's booking is
so good it overcame a horrible set. So they actually started with the old drowning pool music.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm like, okay, maybe we're gonna see the fist.
I still love that Ray looked exactly the same, and Ray's response was, "I filmed it 15 years ago. I'm not filming it again."
Yeah.
So at first they show a fist. As soon as I see it, I'm like, it's the CGI fist.
Yeah.
It's the CGI fist, not the real fist. They had a CGI stage over their real stage, that then revealed the stage, which was just the regular stage. Guess what the colors were? The old WWF 80s colors. I'm sorry. SmackDown's first show was when? 1999. 1999. What the hell was that? This is the shit Vince does that angers me. Like, bro, just come on. You tell us how much you love wrestling fans. So Stephanie recently did an interview, and she was saying, like, Vince talks, he tries to implement into the young, these wrestlers he has now, like, listen, I'm not where I am without wrestling fans. I actually do love them.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it doesn't feel like you love us, Vince, because you give us like these half-hearted things all the damn time. Like, Vince, just go get it out the warehouse. Hey, you know what? I'm doing a throwback. Fans,
and you don't even have to do it yourself. You could have hired like 12 dudes in a truck to do this.
Bro, just your guys are only working 3 times a week. Hey, go get the trucks. Go get it real quick.
We need the fist.
And
you got 100 people under contract down in NXT that you could have been like, write a passage, get the fist.
Did you see?
Welcome to class, everyone. Guess what?
Pat, did you see Pat McAfee?
So Pat McAfee was dressed up as him from the 80s. No, it was cute. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fine. But I'm like, dude, if you wanted to do an 80s throwback, do an 80s throwback. But you were talking about doing a throwback and got fans thinking like, oh shit, we might get the fist back for a night.
Here's the deal. While I 100% agree with you, 100%, my biggest thing here was the only reason why I am agreeing with Jessie is this. You thought I was going to swerve you there, but no. The problem here was I would disagree with you if they had cut out a couple of things that, quote unquote, that you just mentioned that they were doing. If they hadn't been talking all night about the history of SmackDown, then I would have looked at Jessie and said, Jessie, you're wrong. But Jessie's right, because they were focusing on SmackDown, not 80s wrestling.
Yeah.
So I would say Jessie would be wrong, and you were overdoing it if they hadn't spent all night remembering classic SmackDown moments. SmackDown moments, not moments that happened in 19. Because there were none in 1980. No.
Because you didn't get Raw on TV until 1993 or 4, something like that.
Yeah.
90, yeah.
So but overall, now that I got that out of my system, this was a good show.
Yeah.
Furthering stories.
You can't.
It was nice to see Baron Corbin. I know you think I should get drug tested for that, but it was nice to see Baron Corbin. I didn't hear the stupid King music in his music, which was nice.
Raw's debut?
Yeah, okay. He's looking up Raw's debut.
January 11th, 1993.
Okay, so yeah. And they're moving stories.
I'm older than
forward.
Hey, I'm older than Raw.
Shit, I'm older than Raw.
I was 18.
Me, so.
I was 18. Literally. 'Cause,
We're both not. He's older than Nitro, though.
Yeah. I'm older than the first WrestleMania.
He is.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
He is.
man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean, listen, who would have known back in the 1930s that Vince would be running this company?
I
this
know,
long?
it's true. It's
Right.
true, yeah.
I mean, you guys are both pretty old now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think I hold it better than him.
You're pushing it.
Yeah, boy.
I try.
You're still single for a reason. Anyway. But by the way, okay.
Who said Vince isn't single? His wife is in D.C. most of the time. Who said Vince isn't single?
Yeah, that's fair. But anyway,
Yeah.
going back to Jesse's point, outside, the show's great. They are setting. Here's the deal. SmackDown. Now, Raw is actually doing the same thing, but in the opposite bad way. Is SmackDown right now? I feel like you could take every superstar that is on the SmackDown roster, throw them in the air like the Beatles used to do the old tapes, have it fall on the floor. Pick up two things, slap them together. Beatles made a hit song. WWE SmackDown could make a great feud out of anyone on SmackDown. Raw, same thing, but I don't think they're getting the quality out of the people. But sticking to SmackDown, it's interchangeable.
Yes.
Who could be feuding with who right now?
Yeah.
And KO is at a point right now where I think Michaels was at. In the Ruthless Aggression era, he's kind of popping in and out for like pop moments, but he's doing it so well that who was mad that we got to see Sammy and KO again at WrestleMania? No one, because they're gold together.
Oh yes.
And but see, Sammy had been running the frickin' conspiracy thing for so long, still doing it great, but out of nowhere, Kevin showed up.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere in that storyline, Kevin was all of a sudden a part of it. Boom, we're at WrestleMania. Boom, it was great. Boom, you got Logan Paul. That was garbage, but Logan's a garbage human being.
There we go. Yep.
I know you got more money than me, Logan, but trust me, I would not become the shit human being you were to make that much money. That's not enough money for me to become a garbage shit human being.
I mean, that's the least.
No,
Like the least.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my starting asking price to become a Logan Paul. Anyway, but no. KO's popping in and out, but he's great. He's got fire. He comes in with fire. He leaves with the stunner. It's so good. Roman is just Roman. End of conversation.
The guy.
He is the head of the table. He's the. Oh my God.
The only reason I
Yes.
did not agree with you about MJF being the best heel is because I watch a lot of wrestling every week. Damn, it's hard not to put Roman up there.
Best snarky heel.
Okay.
Roman is the best overall.
I don't know. I mean, you guys don't get to watch a lot of King Jay White. He's a damn good snarky heel.
I actually don't
But
think.
the problem is he's so good at it that he's almost now a tweener. Even in Japan, where it doesn't happen very often.
Well, but here's the other thing about, and no offense to MJF. MJF is so young.
True.
But King Switch is so good in the ring, I can't think of him as snarky. That's not a word that I can associate with King Switch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't do it.
He's excellent in the ring.
Jay White is just a
By the
god
way,
right
congratulations on now being Japan's only third ever quadruple crown winner.
Yep.
He's only the third ever guy to win the never openweight championship, the heavyweight championship.
We're going to
the
segue for a quick second.
Championship,
Did you
and
ever see this out of this guy? Seriously.
No.
Be honest with me.
I'm going to be 100%.
Yep.
When they sent him on excursion to Progress, I said, when he goes back to Japan, he'll be a tag team guy at best. And then the biggest swerve of all was when Okada recruited him, because you're like, wait a minute, Okada's one of the biggest baby faces in the company.
Yep.
This little kid's a jackass.
I did not expect him to be Switchblade going into that Wrestle Kingdom. But my God, he came out with fire, and he hasn't that fire hasn't dimmed.
He's the brightest star WWE might not be able to sign ever.
Why would he leave New Japan? He's a god over there.
I mean, right now he's on another level so much, even further than Kenny Omega was, that I don't even think he would want to leave. Now he's talked about it though, because like he said, at some point, character wise, you need to do something else.
Agreed.
But right now he's fulfilling other smaller stories. The guy is phenomenal. But back to Roman Reigns, my God.
Paul is, and you know what's interesting? This is so good because it's Paul. Paul said, "When I am with Lesnar, I'm a different type of promoter. When I was with Cesaro, I had to be a different type of personality. When I had Curtis Axel, I had to be a different type of personality." He has gone from I've got the beast on a leash to I am the bitch on the leash.
Yes,
And it's
definitely.
but it's so well done because it's Paul. And then at the same, mind you, he's being this little bitch dog every single Friday, but then directly when the lights go out on SmackDown, he's back to being Paul Lee on Talking Smack. Yeah. It's so good. When he looked at Kayla Braxton and was like, "All offense intended," she was like, "Yeah." It's like she knows that she's working with Paul Heyman, and that's it. End of story. Paul throws in every little thing. Like seriously, he didn't need to be like, "Let me take the interview for a second." All offense intended. He didn't need the all offense intended, but it was there. It was brilliant. She sold it. I loved it because it's so Paul.
I got to give him credit for her.
Oh, yeah.
Because
he's actually very high on her. He
Yeah.
actually likes Kayla
Working
Braxton.
with her, she is becoming a character and a personality. I don't think we'll see on SmackDown as far as interviewing wise.
Yeah.
I wish we would.
Yeah.
Because the segments on Talking Smack are so good.
Oh, yes,
because
they are.
The personality traits that she can bounce off of him. I'm like, oh, I dig this. And she could use
Talking
more.
Smack is in that level of shows we never thought we'd want to consistently watch. I can't wait for Talking
I
Smack.
can't wait for it every Saturday
it's
morning.
so much fun.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Well, it helps get some of the feuds. I mean, that you know that they've been highlighting. You know.
Oh yeah.
Jay and Jimmy. What's going to happen with that? Seth
They have
Rollins.
actually not ruined Apollo Crews. I actually don't hate the new Apollo Crews.
I
And
didn't
by the way,
think he would.
and by the way, anyone who's sitting there like, "This is just corny," I'm like, well, it was better than literally doing nothing, which he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was in catering.
You want corny or do you want literally doing nothing?
do you like catering? Listen,
Sometimes.
So the feud. So first of all, the mid card technically, which is what the U.S. or the Intercontinental Championship is.
And
even though
Sammy,
it's a legendary championship.
And Sammy, God bless him, is keeping himself relevant on that mid card so
is.
well. His work with Teddy Long was so good.
That
segment was
Leia.
gold.
It was
I think
great.
Teddy's dipping into the Just for Men
You
a little bit
got
there.
a one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Yeah, Teddy's been retired.
He's retired
He's
since
retired,
November.
sorry. But
But
then he
just-
pulled
but
out the
just
10-man tag team.
Oh,
Well,
God.
and then he told him his opponents, and he was like, "Yeah, that's like a 5-on-2, though." And then Sonya was like, "Here's your partner."
Oh my god.
It was so well done.
I think Teddy's dipping into the Just for Men on the stash
Oh,
stuff. But,
for sure.
But, folks, I want to point something out. Teddy Long was so great as the GM of SmackDown. Not just that on Retro SmackDown, but in the years he was there.
Oh, he was.
Oh,
He
yeah.
never got stale. He was
No.
always great. He was the opposite of Bischoff, where he used his authority to make the show better, whereas Eric used his authority to screw with the show
Yeah.
and really give Triple H what he wanted. But, guys, Retro SmackDown, outside of obviously the bad presentation visually, graphic-wise, was just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has a place.
Yeah.
Everyone has something to do. And now to another topic, we'll combine them. Look, Ray and Dominic. Dominic isn't bad. I just don't think he should be up in this spot yet. But if he's there, I'm going to accept it. And Ray is still Ray. Ray is still just
you know what,
Ray.
though? I'm actually at the point. I'm actually ready for them to just have the tag team championships on SmackDown. I know some. And you guys are probably right in your assessment. Those who feel that way about Dominic, but I'm at a point because I'm just like, how much more can Ray do? Because Ray is going to get stale if they don't win these championships.
Yep, I agree.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And he's not hurt by anything,
No,
don't get me wrong.
no.
Yeah.
But it's going to get
And
old.
can I also point something
really
out?
quick.
We didn't know if it was going to work. We didn't know if it was a good idea. I don't hate Otis right now.
No.
I don't hate Gable and Otis.
They're actually quite refreshing.
They're not. They're not killing Otis. Gable is a great snarky heel.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just And by the way, the Dirty Dogs are exactly what they should be. We show up when the money's on the line. We don't care otherwise. We cheat otherwise, but we're still great. Like they're great. I love that. The tag team division works. The mid card works. The female division is not terrible. Could be better. Not not that.
I will say this: it's better than Raw. Here's
and the main
thing.
event scene has the best world. And by the way, the two best champions in all of pro wrestling right now, they are, no offense to Will, it's Roman and it's his cousin.
Yes.
Down there in MLW.
I don't know if I could put Jacob above Will. I don't know if I can do it. But I will say Roman is the best champion in pro wrestling right now.
But you're not. But you're also not saying that Fatu's bad.
No,
Jacob
hell
Fatu
no.
is still fantastic.
No. But yeah, I do not think I can put. And I'm thinking about it right now. Like I don't think I can do it. And he's great, but I don't think I can do it. But I will say this: Roman Reigns is what a world champion should be.
Yes.
Now, I got into a little bit of an argument with Mr. Aaron McMahon on the lounge because I just said,
Aaron.
like, what I understand about Brock is that yes, he's an event, like people want to see him, but the problem is I don't want an event as a champion in pro wrestling.
I agree.
Because what Roman does, listen, Roman doesn't wrestle every week.
Nope.
You don't have to.
But being on the show and doing a little bit of storyline here and there is enough of you to go like, damn, I hope someone whoops his ass.
Yep.
Because just a little bit of story that he does every week, like this over cocky, overpowered. By the way, he should hold. I'm actually now on the side of Seth should probably screw over Cesaro.
Yes.
At Backlash next week.
Yeah.
Just because I do want to see Cesaro take the championship off of him.
Yeah.
But having Seth screw him and then pushing it to maybe SummerSlam's coming up. August will be here pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because Kevin did an interview on SmackDown. I know people are like, why would you go back to Kevin Owens? Because it's easy to get through a month really quick with Kevin Owens is going to do a great job.
Yeah.
Because really when I look at the scene now with Daniel Bryan basically gone.
Free agent, basically.
They did tease a little bit of heel Roman and heel Seth kind of getting after each other a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, which was nice to see.
We're actually, okay, I am going to make two executive calls on the show here. Number one,
geez.
We're actually going to save our Backlash card for next week when we preview before the show.
Okay.
Number two, we need to get to Jesse's least favorite thing in the world right now, and that is two quick topics on Monday Night Raw. We're going to get through them quickly because we need to spend at least 20 minutes or so on my final topic. I'll get to that in a second.
Are we talking about Charlotte Flair?
Do you want to start with Charlotte, or do you want to talk about the best thing going on Raw?
Let's just get into Charlotte Flair.
We're now on Raw. Sorry, Jesse. We're in hour 3 of Raw. Sorry, Jesse.
Yes.
Here's the deal.
I don't say 2 hours.
Asuka
2 hours.
Asuka has proven two things. One, if she's heel, she's a believable heel. Number two, if she's a face, she can sell like there's no tomorrow.
Yes.
So Asuka, in and out of the title picture, I love it.
Asuka's my wife.
Rhea is presented as nothing more than a star. I don't think Vince could have screwed her up because at this point Vince knows two things. One, don't change the character, just kind of do it again, maybe on a different scale because it is Raw over NXT. And number two, she is just fucking ridiculously talented in so many ways. She is the best. Hear me out. She's the best combination. She is if you took Lita and Trish, put them together. Lita's got a card. He's got a card.
That's how I would like to remember her, but I'll get into my disagreements here in a minute.
Well, hey.
But right now,
I did like her new haircut.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Rhea's very beautiful.
But
great taste in music too.
Oh God, so good. Rhea, I don't think you could mess up as long as you just said go out there and do what you did on NXT because she is just a star. There is nothing about that girl. No company in the world, even AEW, in my opinion, if you just let her be her, could mess her up. Seriously. I don't think that you could mess Rhea Ripley up. Hold on a second. Not the Nightmare Rhea Ripley. The first Rhea Ripley was kind of a blonde bombshell background. No one cared. Talented, but no one cared. But you can't mess up the Nightmare, in my opinion, if you just let her do Nightmare things.
Yeah.
Because from the way, and this is, again, what bothers me about AEW, the camera is on her in a way that she looks like a star. She looks bigger than she is. Rhea does. So whatever they're doing to her in the truck, backstage, with the music, everything, she's great. Only hiccup I think she's had is the really bad sound check they did at WrestleMania. We're not going to talk about that again.
This promo on Raw at the end with Sonya Deville, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, that was also not good. But look,
not her fault.
No.
But
still.
But look, I get it, folks. She moves the needle. I get it. I get that they're trying to reinvent her, which I'm actually okay with because the Charlotte character was getting a bit stale. But this is just a weird, not good version of Charlotte Flair. I don't know where to go with this. This is the first time in the history of Charlotte Flair where I'm literally looking at my TV and going, less makeup, but I still don't get it.
You want to know how I feel about Charlotte Flair?
Here's the deal. Jesse, take a deep breath before you go. I want you to save your energy because...
Oh, it's not going to take much. I need you to find a soundtrack in here. I believe there's like little frogs in it. Can you play that for me?
Little frogs?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I believe it's like
Leroy's going through our soundboard.
I believe there's a croak, because it's at night and it's supposed to be sleepy time. Can you play that one for me?
It's not that big of a soundboard. Come on, Leroy.
Yeah, I know, but
the professionalism is what brings the fans back.
It's the one you use when you're talking about AEW.
The crickets.
The crickets.
You have the crickets on there?
Can you play the crickets?
No, I don't have.
You don't have crickets
on here. No, I don't think.
Fill in the sound later. Anyway, Jesse, you were
saying.
So,
I'm tired of her. I'm. You know who needs Becky back? Charlotte needs Becky back.
She hinted at that on Monday a little bit.
Charlotte needs Becky back.
Yep.
You want to know why Charlotte needs Becky back? I am now of the full belief this woman is not capable and never will be capable of working with anyone that isn't one of the four horsewomen. Period. I mean, Asuka's different because Asuka's a legend. Asuka's going to be in their Hall of Fame. Asuka's going to be my wife in 2 years. Damn it, it's going to happen. When you speak it, it will happen into existence. I love you, Kana-chan. I'm going to propose to you. You will deny me. But I am over Charlotte Flair. I'm done with it. Do you got it ready?
Well, I might. Well, this
too much too soon. With Charlotte Flair. Is that the issue?
Play the soundbite.
Well, I'll try this.
Go ahead.
And this might. I don't know.
No,
it's not.
No, that's not that one.
But I have it on my phone.
So let me say this. I don't care anymore. I don't care. She's always been a better heel. That's number one.
That's the Flair.
But like now this weird like relationship of like forcing Sonya to give her what she wants. It's basically what you just brought up where it's like Triple H and Eric Bischoff. And it's just like I don't care.
It's the influence.
I don't care.
It's the influence that Roman has, but she can't be as forceful as Roman, basically.
But she kind of is. But she's more bratty about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Now people are like, well, that's a part of the character. No. That one.
There we go.
Thank you.
See?
Yeah, that's how I feel when I see Charlotte Flair on my TV. She could take a fit. I don't care. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Why should you care what I think? She bores me now.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
I got that on my phone, not on this one.
Yeah.
They let go of the Iconics.
Yep.
Who she was doing something okay with.
She was.
They could have continued doing something with them.
Yep.
This woman, to me, is a burden on the women's division on Raw. As a matter of fact, Charlotte, and I mean this with all due respect, I need you to go talk to Becky. I need you to be like, when can you get a babysitter? Because otherwise, you're destructive to the women's division.
Well, it's very simple. We just have to find a way to write Seth off television.
Well,
that's true.
Oh, that's not hard.
Fair enough.
Seth can write himself off of television by being Seth Rollins.
From Jesse's least favorite thing to
But all in all, I actually do not believe she's going to win.
Okay.
I hope so.
I believe Rhea gets some sort of. Asuka's going to take the fall for Rhea.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Rhea's going to get some sort of weird heel win here.
Yep.
And that'll continue this
From
build.
Jesse's least favorite part of today's show to the best thing we didn't know we needed in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, Arcade Bro is
Oh
2-0,
my God.
and I don't know why. It is the
Bro.
best goddamn thing going right now.
Bro.
Randy is, it's funny. This is actually a motivated Randy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is actually Randy realizing that he's motivated, but he's playing the part the best way he can. It's working. I love it. It's great. Matt Riddle is
Well,
growing on me like the fungus that's tattooed on his chest. I just
Okay, that's I got to do this one because I hope this works here. 'Cause I feel like that,
I just
love it.
guys, here's the deal. There's nothing I hate about RK Bro right now.
They need something in that tag division.
But it's so good.
It is really good, though.
They-
It's really good.
Randy is the prime example of, you know what? I don't have much going on. I could go be a world champion, but it's not my thing right now.
So the original story is because remember they decided to switch up the stuff at WrestleMania, so we haven't seen Bray since.
well,
'cause
we've seen Bray, we haven't seen the Fiend.
Well, what I'm saying is originally the Fiend was supposed to just annihilate him, and Randy was going to take some time off,
Yeah,
and that would allow Bray to do whatever he was going to do next.
yeah.
Which maybe would have been the Alexa turn. We'll get into that at some point. And
That could be next week.
they decided to change their mind at Mania, which pissed Randy Orton off because he's like, first off, me and Bray haven't wanted to we haven't been able to do this feud how we've wanted to do it,
Right,
and now it's been changed on us at the last minute.
right.
So to pay Orton back, because at first they were like, why don't you? Which is why that was that triple threat. Why don't we get you in the feud with Drew and Braun? Mostly Braun. He wanted no part of doing a feud with Braun.
Yeah.
And so he said, I want to work with a younger guy. I've been telling you I've wanted to work with one of the younger guys. He's like, if you give me Matt Riddle, we'll make magic happen.
Randy's not as conceited as I think people
Not
think
as much
he
as
is.
he used to be, and
No,
that's the problem.
no, because Randy now looks back at all the old footage and realizes Triple H and Ric Flair did him a solid.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't
Oh, yeah.
have to do that. They
No,
could
they
have.
didn't.
They could have gone with Mark Jindrak, but they went with Randy Orton.
Which was a way better choice.
And so, but yeah, I mean, folks, RK Bro is the best thing going on Raw. It is seriously.
It's so entertaining.
Look up this phrase on the internet. What I didn't know I needed in my life, and there should be a picture of RK Bro just sitting there.
They are so good together.
Now we're gonna get
Yes.
to I was saving this because, folks, if you don't know why I'm about to freak out and why I'm about to just geek out, then you have a problem and you need to up your wrestling game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, after years of independence, of NXT, of everything being about everything else, after going back and looking, a very rough run with Mr. Dick Boy Joey Ryan, Candice LeRae won a belt in NXT!
You know, so
Holy shit!
she actually deserves it. It was
She's
funny.
great.
It's funny because I'm watching the match, and at first I was a little upset when they won, but then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute. This is actually the first time that Candice LeRae won a championship in NXT. I'm like, wait a minute. Why did it take so long?
She has
I don't know.
played...
I don't know why in my head I thought she's been NXT
Right,
Women's
yeah.
Champion before, but she
has
hasn't.
played second fiddle to everyone from the list on down in NXT,
True.
from her own husband's storyline.
True.
But Candice LeRae has not only... Candice LeRae went from being the most stale thing in NXT, she became the Poison Pixie, and all of a sudden I tilt my head to the right and I'm like, oh my God, you are interesting again. She is great in the ring. She's been one of the better female wrestlers on the indie scene for years. She's a great human being. nobody blames her for what she was doing with Joey Ryan at the time
No.
because she probably wasn't aware of most of it.
No, I
And
doubt
even
it.
if
Oh,
she
yeah.
was, look, folks, I am not going to rip Candice LeRae right now for Joey. Joey Ryan should be
Shayna
ripped alone.
Baszler worked with Joey Ryan before, so like, there's no way she knew about that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
so.
yeah. But no, Candice LeRae has taken pinfall, submission, disqualification, count out across the board. Any way that a match can end, she has taken it. She helped build that women's division.
Oh, yeah.
She is a cornerstone of it. Don't at me just because you haven't watched her from the day she came in. Candice LeRae, I know she's supposed to be a heel. And I know I always sit here and say be believable, but she is.
Oh, yes, she is.
But you can't help but think that when she went back behind that curtain, you can't help but think she probably didn't think for half a second, oh my God, exactly what Jessie thought. This is my first. But folks, she is so damn good. And she deserves this. And I have nothing more to say about NXT because here's the deal. Forget the rating. That was my moment of the week.
Yeah, it's,
Because just
it's
again, if you're listening and you don't actually know her story from the moment she
Yeah.
won that belt, she was putting over the 4 Horsewomen.
Yeah.
She was putting over Shayna Baszler. She was putting over Nia. She was putting everybody over. She was in the men's storylines, putting them over. Candice LeRae. Nobody, in all honesty, in my opinion, in the last 15 to 20 years, and I'm serious, 15 to 20
Yeah.
years, I don't think anyone has deserved a belt.
not even close.
Just a belt more than she has.
Not even close.
And by the way, Indy Hartwell was nothing until she got with Candice LeRae, and now I'm looking at Indy like, okay, Indy could be something here.
She could, yeah, definitely.
Indy could actually be something here.
I was, like I said, because maybe at first I was upset because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Right.
And once again, I mean, kudos to DX. The storytelling wise, anytime you see Candice LeRae in a championship match, I guess your brain just now automatically went like, well, I mean, she's not gonna win. Like,
Yeah.
And so like the fact, and then she was the one to get the pin. Really, really awesome moment. I'm happy for those two. It really might be the best women's division in North America is the NXT women's division.
Definitely.
It might, like, I don't even think it's
But here's the
close
thing:
anymore.
Candice LeRae could go to Japan and she could hang. She can hang anywhere in North America.
No argument for me on that.
Candice LeRae will never turn the needle the way a Trish and Alita did. But that's not to take away from the impact she's had.
A lot of that
from
though
her.
comes from the time when they did a lot of what
Agreed.
they did.
Agreed. Candice LeRae is, in my opinion, the modern female of you. You find her beautiful because of the athleticism. She also doesn't look bad in her ring gear. But here's the deal. I know Jim Cornette's not a fan of the fact that he thinks male wrestling has been pussified, and that's why the main event of night one shouldn't have been what it was. That's there's pros and cons to what he said. In my opinion,
I'm about to say, do not get me started on the word pussified and Jim Cornette.
we're not going to get into that.
No, we're not going to talk about that today. No.
But here's the deal. But no, it's like, seriously, here's the deal. Here is a woman who is just as talented as her husband,
Yeah.
and maybe more because she has been able to character invent so many. The Poison Pixie is like, that's something Jim Cornette would laugh at, but then I watch it and I'm like, it's not corny. It's not Willow with Jeff Hardy. It worked for Jeff because Jeff is Jeff.
Well, Jeff's very creative.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
She created something that is subtle, but I love it.
Yeah. Jeff also got beat up by the Maharaja, Indru Sher, and then a female Indian wrestler as well. I'm like, oh, so he's got a new faction. But going back to Candice LeRae,
Yeah.
deserving, excellent match, which of
God.
course it was. I mean, these 4 women are incredible.
Oh, yes, they
Four,
are.
four,
Oh, my
just
God,
four
yes.
amazing
Just
competitors.
absolutely
And
incredible.
by the way,
going back to NXT was the best thing Ember Moon ever did,
And-
because clearly Vince had no idea.
and
what
by
to
the
do
way,
with her.
the short-term storytelling that they did was phenomenal as well.
Yeah. They were never going to hold. I know some people thought they might hold on to him for a long time, but they've been building that women's tag team division down there for a minute.
Yeah.
And Triple H is very serious about that. So I I figured the first champions would lose the championship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I will say this though, since we're kind of getting into NXT.
Yeah.
I am a little confuzzled as far as the Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez is concerned, because I believe Martinez is the perfect person to beat her for that championship.
Yeah.
But she's not going to. Now this is what Candice LeRae fell into originally.
Yes.
Was a lot of getting championship matches but not winning.
Right.
And Mercedes shouldn't be the first woman to get this shot, because she should be, if she's going to be the one in a long-term feud with Raquel. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It might be Raquel. I'm very sorry. You're very good. Her growth in the last 2 years has been insane.
She's what they wanted Nia to be.
Yeah.
And what Nia will never be.
In spades. In spades.
Like, not even close. She's amazing. She has now fallen into the old school Candice LeRae role on NXT, because she's not going to win that championship. And
they're way too high on Gonzalez to take that belt off. Right
and
now.
it's just, to me, it could hurt Mercedes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now this is going to be the second time she doesn't win a championship match. Remember, after like 3 or 4, they kind of finally put Candice LeRae in a tag team, and it works. The way stuff works. Though I feel bad for Austin. Talk about a guy who when he goes back to NXT, found something that works for him. Oh my God,
it's so good. I don't know why. Allison's a little peeved off only because she hates grown men acting like kids. But here's the deal. My God, is he just believable at it? It's so good.
The segment, by the way, so I'll be honest. I was watching it live. I'll be honest. I was thinking of you, and then I thought of Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and I immediately, like, my mom will tell you, she heard me yell at the TV because she was coming to have dinner with me, because I'm watching the segment where they go into the office of William Regal, and of course Scarlett is there, and he looks down and he was like, "Those are beautiful fingernails." I'm like, damn it, I know Shawn Michaels and Triple H wrote that terrible ass joke, and I know Leroy loves that terrible ass joke, and I'm like, I'm so mad that I laughed at it. I shouldn't have laughed at it, but he pulled it off so perfectly.
Trust me, I was laughing. Like, beautiful. I'm like,
the talent of Austin Theory at 23 was undeniable.
It's insane.
But the ability to now show me that he now has the 5 tools to work with.
Oh, yeah.
He now has the ability to be entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Folks,
the
it's
next
going to
few
be
weeks,
good.
With them having
all this gold.
All that gold, they are going to...
But can I also point this out?
We're going to have fun with that
Once again, look at our faces and listen to our voices of how we speak so glowingly about everything in NXT versus Spot Monkey, in the sense that, folks, it is the better show.
Yeah.
I don't care. They seamlessly go from the tag team division to the heavyweight division
to the cruiserweight division.
To the cruiserweight division.
There's great stuff going on with
to the entire women's division.
It's incredible.
It is so seamless. It is so good. And if you stop with the hopium in AEW and you just take the reality pills and watch NXT and not hate on it because it's under the WWE banner, it's the better show.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
761,000.
I just want AEW, the marks, as we call them, to realize that, remember, you are some of the same people that really want Triple H to run the main roster because of what you've seen before in NXT.
They took a 1-hour show on the network. They put it on 2 hours. And yes, people can argue with me, look at the ratings. I'm like, look at the quality of the show.
It got better.
Actually watch the show. Sit down, binge it from start to finish. It's gotten better. Finn Balor even said, and by the way, I loved his interview off camera where he said, I don't have any plans to go to Raw or SmackDown. So obviously he's not walking out if the NXT thing falls short.
Yeah.
He's just still excited about what he can build in NXT. So NXT right now has the man who built AEW.
Yeah.
Which, really. You know what, Jesse? You're going to be here next week?
Yeah.
What's next week? What's the date next week?
A week from now? What
Yeah.
the fuck date is today?
It's the
It's the 9th.
It'll
Well, I
be
know it's
the
Mother's Day, the
16th
9th.
next
okay.
week.
So 7 more days,
So next
16th.
week, no show because I have a thing to do with the family.
Okay.
Um,
Well, if Jesse's around, we can do a show.
you guys can
anyways.
go ahead and do it. Yeah, I got
If
no
you're
issue
on,
there.
yeah, you're more welcome. We'll
But
do a show.
but
All right.
okay, but in 2 weeks on the
We might miss you.
23rd. Huh?
We might miss you.
Nah.
I was trying to be nice when he was here.
I
Kiss-
understand.
Tell him to kiss your butt once in a while.
Well, I do tell him to do that. every time.
He does that a lot. But here's the deal. Only because A, I want to get to it, but B, I really want Jesse to think about it for a 2 week period. Jesse, in 2 weeks, Leroy's going to have this on the cards.
Okay.
We're going to actually break down the history of why AEW owes Prince
Okay.
Devitt. We're going to go all the way back to the
Okay.
first night of the
I don't
black
even
and
think I
white.
need to do a lot of research since I know a lot of this.
No, I know
history.
that. But I want you to be as ready as possible.
Okay.
If you guys do the show, I am more than thankful to let you guys do the show. We're doing a double feature of Godzilla and Mortal Kombat with a bunch of my friends. Private showing at the movie theater. I really want to do it because Sunday works for everyone, and also it's just nice because everybody's healthy and safe, and it's a COVID thing. So it's gonna be a lot of fun for me. But if you guys do the show, it's not gonna bother me.
Well, we gotta highlight and review. Preview
Backlash.
Backlash,
because
yeah.
it is next Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we gotta
and-
do
we'll do
that.
And you know
Oh,
what,
yeah.
folks, there's a human element to me that says, God, I don't want them to. But at the same time, Jesse's as much a part of this now as Leroy and I have been.
Well, thank you.
Leroy, it is as much your show as it is mine, and I would be more than proud to watch you guys keep that going.
Oh, yeah.
I have no issue
Was
with
it? We can do it with Jesse, my special co-host for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah,
Hell yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And
Mighty
if I
fun.
get lucky and actually get some streaming, cameras and everything set up,
Yeah.
maybe we can stream for fun.
Ooh, that'd be
But
fun.
my point is
Yeah.
this, folks. Going back to my original point, this is the better show.
Oh, it's not
This
even close.
is head and shoulders above. And by the way, like I said,
Like I tell people all the time, it's if you hate WWE so much, and I get it, because if you watch Raw every Monday,
I get it.
It can make you lose your love of wrestling. Like I say, watch NXT, watch SmackDown. You will see this company is still, at least in this country,
if you
the
go
best
watch
at what it does.
If you go watch Main Event on Peacock, you might even get better. Because
Oh my God,
they're
they've
putting
been
on
doing
great matches.
They've been doing great stuff
Oh, yeah.
on Peacock the last 3 months.
Main Event's actually been
really good. Really good.
It's only an hour, but it's good matches.
They're built like those wrestlers. They're allowing them to build their own storylines on Main Event now.
Yeah.
like it's insane.
Yeah, it's great. No, seriously, I love it.
It's great.
But my point is this: is that if you take away the hopium, it's the better product.
Yeah.
It's got the better talent.
Oh, yeah.
The referees are not buried every night. The commentary team is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I actually do love them all.
Oh yeah.
And, folks, they just they don't piss on the wrestling business. They
No,
don't.
they don't.
It's not embarrassing to watch NXT. It can sometimes remind you a little bit about what Adam Cole could be versus the WWE version of Adam Cole, but at the same time, he's still great.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly is now back to being Kyle O'Reilly of his ROH
Yeah.
championship run.
Yeah.
The tag team division is as loaded as any tag team division in the world.
Oh, yeah.
We even like whatever they are.
Everrise.
Everrise. I even love Everrise. They're good. I
Them
think
and
that's-
that
Oh, yeah.
damn coffee show that they're trying to get off the ground.
Oh God, they're so good.
And I do love the $1 Million Man cameos.
Oh,
last 2
with
weeks.
we didn't
Cameron
even
Grimes.
get to Cameron Grimes today.
Cameron Grimes.
We can talk more about him next week.
Oh my God.
He is one of those guys that I can actually point to Impact and be like, how did you mess up?
I don't know
that?"
how they let that guy go. Oh my God.
That is actually one of those wins for WWE over Impact. It's
Yeah.
just like Cameron Grimes is so freaking good. And by the way,
He must have said, like, he must have been joking around backstage a lot to a point
where they just gave him
they
the
were
TV
like,
time.
dude, let's just make this your character.
Why not?
go
Like,
with
it
it.
just works.
And by the way, the one thing that everybody was skeptical about on Jesse's side of the wrestling arguments, they have not, and I repeat, have not messed up Kushida.
No.
Kushida's been great in losses. He's been great in victories.
Yeah.
He's been funny. He's been serious. He's a champion. I have loved Kushida's run from the moment he got in.
It's
Definitely.
like I said, my only concern is what happens when he finally wins the NXT Championship. What happens after that?
That's fair.
Because at this point he's going to get to feuds with all the characters we want to see him feud with, and then we're going to be at a point where we're like, okay, what else can he do down here? Like,
well, Jesse, to be fair,
because he's so good that you want to see him work with a guy like Roman,
but Jesse,
a guy
to be
like
fair,
Kevin.
this might sound odd. Maybe this NXT run is Kushida's walk into the rising sun.
It's very
Instead
true.
of going back, because again, we've talked about it.
Speaking of rising sun, Saray still looks great.
Oh, Saray was a
yes.
great debut. Loved it.
Now
Loved
this match was a little sloppier, but I forgive it because these two women have never worked together.
Never once.
And like I told people, her and I forget what her name is in NXT, the one that is now feuding with Toni Storm, or as I call her, damn Toni Storm.
Are you talking about Io?
No. Not Phoebe. What the hell is her name? The one that got a shot at Io on her first night for the championship.
Oh, Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
Zoe Stark,
Yeah.
So, because they've actually wrestled in Stardom before, so the chemistry was great. Where she worked with the girl who beat Toni Storm last week, and they've never worked together. You can tell they've never worked together.
Yeah.
But listen, you could if you want to know if they're high on someone, watch. Her intro. She came out, and I'm like, wait, what is this smoke? Wait, why is there a big sun behind her? What? I'm like, yeah, Triple H is high on this one.
but it's just I care about every person on NXT's roster.
Oh yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I don't hate anything they do, and that's not me having hopium. That's me looking at it from the same eyes that I watch AEW, and I'm like, they're pretty much doing a lot of the same things AEW are, but in a good way.
Yep.
That is the best women's division in North America.
well, that's just because Triple H and Sean have.
Yeah, but that's my
30
biggest
Oh,
question,
yeah.
Jesse. Is what if Kushida is okay with maybe ending it with NXT instead of New Japan? Because again, you and I have talked about this in the show 1,000 times. What was left in New Japan for Kushida?
They weren't going to put him in the heavyweight.
But that's my
division for
point.
nothing.
That's my point, is that it doesn't matter how big a name. WWE will put Rey Mysterio in the world title at some point because it's Rey Mysterio. Kushida, NXT champion, we all know it's probably just a foregone conclusion. New Japan, sometimes sticking to their guns is them dropping the ball on something.
Which is what they did.
Which is what they did with Kushida.
They've done it a couple times. Listen, as I did almost a month ago,
No
and
wrestling
got on
company
them.
is perfect.
No wrestling company is perfect.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, I mean, if this is Kushida's last run, why not look like he's looked?
Yeah.
And then walk off into the land of the
Like
rising
an
sun, go
absolute
home,
stud.
live his life out, and still go out being one of the strongest competitors in the freaking world.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And by the way, seeing him live, I think Jesse still hates me a little bit inside for
Oh,
getting to see
I
him
do.
live against Cameron Grimes.
Oh my God.
But it's just Kushida is great. Cameron Grimes, great. They're at Bronson. By the way, you can hate it. LA Knight's been a revelation. The
And
name
that's-
is weird, but just Eli Drake as LA Knight. He is sticking to his cocky guns despite not being the winningest guy coming in, but it's in a good way. I'm enjoying it so far.
It's not just saying that's a fact of life. Yeah.
Bronson Reed looks great.
Bronson Reed looks like a stud.
Dexter Loomis is more highlighted now than he ever was in Impact,
my
even though it's
guy.
basically the same gimmick.
I love him.
Guys,
Definitely.
seriously, I mean, I can't think of a bad thing they're doing in NXT right now.
No.
I'm serious.
No, it's all going good.
MSK looks great as tag team champion.
And I didn't even think they were
Grizzled
going to...
young veterans still look like stars.
I didn't think that MSK was going to walk in and they were going to just shoot him to the top.
Yeah, I wasn't
But
expecting
they
that either.
did,
But they
and it
did.
made me happier. And I'm sitting there looking at myself like, well, goddamn, okay.
And the problem is that they were working their matches so well, they almost had to.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, and the crazy part about it is that they're another one that just the entertaining side has come out. Them and Beth Phoenix is why that's not a GIF yet or
I
a
know.
meme, I don't understand.
Them and the popcorn, yeah. It should
But
be.
it's just But and by the way, all the love to Beth for just running with that.
Yeah.
Just being like, okay, I'm in the ring. I can go back to the booth and let MSK do it. No, I'm just gonna grab some popcorn while I'm at it. It's just they just no. But it's like this is not me saying WWE will always be better because obviously I shit on Raw because it deserves it.
It deserves it most of the time.
SmackDown's great, but NXT is head and shoulders above AEW.
Yeah.
It just is. And that's coming from a guy who wanted AEW to work before Jesse, and then also coming from Jesse, who was like, no, they were good for a while, and then they just shat the bed. It's like, but it's like, folks, please, I'm not asking you to help win the ratings war. I'm just asking you to watch the show and then sit there and tell me that it's worse than a normal average Dynamite. You can beat them on a blood and guts. That's fine. You're supposed to. You can beat them with a pay-per-view. That's fine. You're supposed to. You can beat them when you have a new talent debuting, even if he is 61 years old and has a bad neck. That's fine. But on an average night, when everything is as it is, without surprises, without big matches, they're a better product.
As I tell people, if you really want to be honest with yourself about pro wrestling, I get it. There's a lot out there.
Oh, God.
Trust me, I know I watch all of it.
And MLW is now on Vice.
Yes.
Can't wait for that.
I mean, they'll still have the replays on YouTube. Like I tell people, watch more pro wrestling, and if you start to think, like I tell people all the time who will chat with me in Reddit and things like that.
Yeah.
If you start to believe that I'm being biased, prove it to me.
Yeah.
But I need you to watch all of pro wrestling because, like Leroy said, I love it so much. I've loved it since my uncle took me to a show when I was 5 years old. Hell, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Now I didn't pursue it, but I wanted to be a pro wrestler coming out of high school. Like it's a passion. I love it. Which is a part of me kind of wants to compete with Dave Messler and just have my own journalism about wrestling because I love it so damn much.
We could do better than him anyways.
And I think I would do better with fans because I'm not going to just give New Japan fives all the time, most of the time, but not all the time. So it's just watch as much. I'll say this: watch as much pro wrestling in this country as you can.
Will recently had a match that they're saying might have been one of the greatest matches of all time.
It was pretty close. Just story-wise,
Who was that
beat
against?
for beat. That was against Shingo. Shingo Takashi? Takashi Shingo? Something like that.
Yeah.
It was against Shingo,
Yeah.
who's phenomenal. He'll get another shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
The only
That's not
thing
that
Jesse's
beautiful.
mad about is that fancy-looking Divas belt. It's the only thing Jesse's mad about.
Why?
Yeah, it's not the greatest.
that, and they got rid of another beautiful championship to bring in that championship, but
Two of them,
yes.
not just one, two of them.
But
That's crazy.
no, folks, look. The reason why I'll repeat it is because there's nothing else to say. It's the better show.
Yeah.
That's not saying Dynamite can't eventually be good to where maybe they do become great, but right now NXT's better.
I keep saying it for AEW. I don't know if it's Tony who has to do it, even though he needs to learn to shut the hell up every now and then.
Just a little bit.
But somebody just has to take more control because
Maybe Cody needs to become the Vince, as much as he hates that statement.
the better segments are segments done by Cody when it's not his own, and Tony when he's not doing stuff with Kenny, when it's just solely them producing it.
Yeah.
These are the better things. So I know they're capable of it.
Yeah.
It's just somebody just needs to just take full control. And it's the big thing we talked about before. Somebody needs to learn to say no to stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. I get you'll hate me for it, but no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea. Just somebody.
But okay, so you know what? Let's kind of take 2 minutes on that because we're about what 2.5 into this,
Close to 3.
close to 3. That's average. For
250.
us. 250. That's average for us. Especially when Jesse's here. But no. That's my thing. Is that if we compare the two, these NXT wrestlers have a million ideas because a lot of them do want to go to Raw and
Yes.
SmackDown because it's still Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, it's still WWE big time.
It's still the top 2 running episodic
Yeah.
television shows of all time. Yes, folks, it's not The Simpsons. Stop at me with that shit. No, but here's the deal. Triple H may not necessarily say no to an idea, but he's at least going to say no to it as is.
Exactly.
Because remember, Xavier Woods wanted the first ever New Day entrance at WrestleMania to be them popping out on bikes, out of the back of a minivan that was dressed up like unicorns. Triple H said, "How about you come out of a cereal box?" And Xavier goes, "Yes, yes!" And they got to wear Dragon Ball Z unis, which was the.
Yeah.
I want those unis. I just do, but
yeah.
it's just, Triple H, in my opinion,
I think
might
Triple
not
H
say no, but he at least says no to the exact thing you wrote down.
I gotta give him and Sean credit because these are guys now in their 50s.
Yep.
They seem to understand how today's wrestling should work.
But the one thing they understand is one of the biggest reasons why I sometimes defend Jim Cornette, regardless of how you or anyone else feels, is that what worked to get over back then still works today. You just have to modify it.
Yeah.
Jim sometimes gets a little too old school with the modern wrestlers.
It feels like and that's always been my biggest problem with Jim. It feels like he lives in his past too much.
Yeah.
Instead of understanding like what you built, and people are just trying to add on top of what you built.
But the thing is,
that's all.
Yeah, no. But the thing is that's why I think Triple H is actually the perfect version of what Jim's trying to say, in the sense that, okay, give me pockets, but okay, let's figure out how to expand Orange
Correct.
Cassidy, not just take Orange Cassidy, give him this amazing run with a top guy, and then he's right back to the same shit he's been doing.
Yeah.
Because if he does win the championship, he'll have gone up with Jericho. No, he'll have been flatlining for about the first couple of months. Then he went up with Jericho. Then he valleyed back down to the flat line. Now he's going to go back up the. It's just a heap and valley with him.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But with Triple H, I think he would be like, look, you're going to have to let this gimmick go after maybe a year. But in that year, we're going to build that gimmick so well
Correct.
and so much that when you do leave it, you will have left it in a gorgeous, beautiful place.
Yeah.
And it's just, folks, it's the better show. And I think that people in AEW need to start learning that, you know what? Vince takes a lot of flack, mostly because he's a no guy. But sometimes, no gets you to a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
A no can get you to a Rock.
Hell, recently no gets you to Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Constantly telling her no, making her feel like she was on the brink of being fired. So she said, screw it, I'll accept the heel turn. The problem was she got to kind of be more, get more of her personality into things, be a little bit snarkier, things like that. She got over quickly in a heartbeat. And while they weren't expecting it, and maybe some of the people under Vince were like, I don't know, he saw T-shirt sales. He saw increase in attendance. He saw like, damn, I threw her on ESPN and people really love her. I got to run with this.
She's phenomenal.
Like, you have to understand.
It got
like,
Allison to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It got Allison to watch.
Like you say, you might say no to, out of 100 ideas, you say no to 90 of them. 10 of them become billion-dollar commodities.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, hopefully, because they're 2 years in now.
Yep.
Hopefully, at some point, especially for the man, as much money as he's spending, even his father has had to probably step up to him. So I'm like, somebody here needs to take control.
Yeah.
Because what his dad has over the Jacksonville Jaguars, while they weren't good last year, 2 years ago they were constant contenders. Because you know what? That man understands as a billionaire, say no.
But it's also football, and football is so ebb and flow. But the wrestling business can be very comparable to that. But the problem is that the wrestling business, unlike football, the wrestling business is you can sometimes beat yourself down, and because you're only on your show, you can constantly fall and fall and fall and fall. Whereas in the NFL, you can have a year where you can make it to a championship game because everybody else screwed up. You control your own destiny in wrestling, but you also control your own downfall in wrestling.
True.
In football, you could be on the biggest down spiral in the world, but then out of nowhere, injuries from other places force you to the top.
Yeah.
The cream will rise, but the cream in football ultimately ends up being who stays the healthiest.
But just understanding, you say no to 90 ideas.
Yeah.
But 10 of them can be superstar ideas that just, even though you might have said no to them at first, you can't deny how good they become.
And I hate it when like fans defend wrestlers like, oh, I gave Vince 10,000 reasons and he shot them all down. Then get 10,000 more.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
I hate to be that person, but like if Mickey's like, oh, they shot down all the ideas, then bring up 10,000 more. Okay. The fact that you're still under contract means that you have the opportunity to slip another note under Vince's desk. It means that you at least get in his ear once more than zero.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, and then like I said,
I'm not taking a shot at Mickey.
No.
I'm just saying that, like, it's like.
I think Paul Heyman once said it best in a sports interview, is you have to understand with Vince. And why Paul's ended up as such a successful storyteller when it comes to Vince, and why he keeps giving Paul chances, even though sometimes he'll take him away too soon.
Yeah,
he gives Paul a ton of chances because what Paul understands is I have to explain the idea in a way where maybe Vince can get behind it some.
Yeah,
because even if it might start off a little wonky because Vince said yes to it, then I can build it to where even though he's not agreeing at first. The moment he starts seeing the results come in, he's like, perfect.
Well, but that's
going.
the thing that I've always tried to explain on the show, and this ain't gonna be the last time that I'm going to say it to somebody. If it's successful, Vince ain't gonna say no.
Yeah.
I mean, once it starts to build and grow, and
everyone
Vince
sits
sees
there
it,
and says, "Oh, Vince will cut this, cut that." No. Nobody was as big as John Cena. Nobody hit that level. Vince wasn't fudging those numbers. CM Punk got close, but CM Punk ultimately got it because Cena had finally gotten stale. Oh, okay. I hate to say it, and this will be a Jay's Take topic that I'll get on at some point. Michael Jordan finally won because everybody that beat him got old.
That's kind of true.
That's not an argument. Yeah. John Cena finally started to fade because it had been 15 years and CM Punk was there to capitalize. The New Day became the biggest thing because there was a lot of stagnancy, not just in just tag team, but in anything African American going on the show. Jessie, no offense, but there was a lot of stagnancy in the African American representation until New Day showed up. And then, of course, New Day took it in a complete 180 of what we thought they were going to take it, but it worked.
Yeah.
No, it did.
Vince McMahon didn't say no to Daniel Bryan. Vince McMahon said no to Daniel Bryan on camera because behind the scenes he was like, this is working. But it's just again, folks, we all live in a world where even if we're a billionaire or we're making ends meet, if you get 10,000 no's, try 10,000 more people. It's that simple.
Or come back with different variations of the same damn idea. At
Well,
some point, you get a yes.
What's the other thing?
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing. Vince McMahon said 100% no to a women's brand. Maybe he said no to a 2-hour network television brand. Give him an hour on Peacock. Maybe. Give him something. Or better yet, he's Vince. You go to him and you pitch something and he comes up with an idea. You make him think it was his idea.
Like Paul Heyman said, sometimes if you start the idea and he starts to lead in, he says yes. Because then he feels like it was a collaboration, and then you get to build. And then, like he said, you get to build what you do. And then the more the success Vince sees with it, he just lets you run with it. He just goes,
Here's
what, I trust you.
Do you think anyone has been writing for New Day since they hit their peak? Hell no.
Probably
no.
no.
I don't think so.
New Day just walks in, bees themselves, and all of a sudden you're just like, okay, it's still working. And that's why Vince isn't involved. Uh-huh. The Fiend wasn't working at the start. That's why Vince got involved. And yes, the ball's been dropped now, but there was a time when he was hot that Vince was involved. And I'm not saying that, he continued the success. He clearly has dropped the ball now. But for a while there, the Fiend was coming up again. And it was working.
I'm not even sure if that. The more I think about the Fiend, I don't even know if that's Vince because if people remember from the '90s, he loves doing evil shit.
He does. He really does.
He does.
Like if you can get big evil dude in front of him, he'll push that guy to the moon.
Yep.
I think guys like Bruce Pritchard don't understand things like the Fiend, and so Bray Wyatt suffers.
Yes.
Because to me, if he goes over to SmackDown,
which is weird because Bruce was one of the biggest Undertaker supporting guys. So
Bruce
Bruce
is weird to me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where because there's guys underneath Vince, they're like, let's do this instead. And Vince will go like, okay, cool, because he trusts those guys. Yeah. Then you get backlash for guys like Bray Wyatt because it's just like, why does his characters keep getting screwed over when the ideas that you were letting him use work?
Yeah.
And then we undercut it. So, but like that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
they'll have to figure out
Yeah.
at some point because he's still their fourth highest merchandise seller, even though he hasn't been on
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to get that.
Ladies
figured
and
out,
gentlemen, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. These guys might see you next week. They're probably going to see you next
we'll
week.
probably see you next
Oh,
week.
yeah.
I'll let you know by Wednesday.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. Which I will be very proud of both guys for them to go. I trust both these gentlemen with this show.
Oh,
more,
it'll be fun.
More so than
Oh,
I
yeah.
trust
We're gonna have a good
anybody
time.
else.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait to listen to you guys.
Probably gonna rip on Spot Monkey some.
Good.
I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure Dynamite's first hour will be horseshit this
Yep.
week. I'm almost counting on it.
Anyway,
counting on
but
it.
anyway, since that episode got deleted, we're gonna say a little bit here. Leroy, it's been an amazing year plus now.
Yes.
I have enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd be doing this if you weren't a stubborn jackass, but you are.
No, you probably wouldn't be doing this if I wouldn't do that.
it's
So.
not at this level. But if anyone I can say that we've worked with outside of Darren Corbin, and that's no insult to Jessie, but outside of Darren Corbin, if anyone has worked so well with the two of us that if one of us had to step away, I think you and I could point to someone. It would be Jessie.
I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yeah, right now, definitely,
And
yes.
I appreciate that.
I have absolutely no doubts.
Like I said, I'm happy 5 months ago you came to a dude who you knew had this passion for pro wrestling to
Yep.
be on your show.
Yep.
Yep.
The Blackness 89.
So actually, the Twitch.tv has gotten a rebranding. It is just twitch.tv/Jay's Take Community Channel.
Fantastic.
So everything will now fall under the Jay's Take Community brand that I do.
Yep.
So yeah, come find me. I will actually be streaming a Just Chatting tonight.
Okay.
Doing
Fantastic.
a little throwback. Somebody asked me on the Twitch because I was kind of doing a live feed last week and then it kind of cut out on me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody asked me to do some throwback stuff on an episode of Raw from early 2001.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm actually going to be talking about that tonight on Twitch.
Can't
All right.
can't wait for that to come.
I'm sure I'll throw stuff up on
Yep.
Facebook and the page for that.
Look
All right,
forward
yeah.
to obviously also Jay's Take coming to 13 Cards, subject change soon, with filming Leroy's hot sauce situation.
Oh, we're going to get that footage up as soon as we can. I'll be in contact with Leroy.
Jay,
about
Jessie here will now be having access to the YouTube channel, which
Yep.
means hopefully Jessie will then start to put up the videos.
Yeah.
We'll get you a playlist set up
All
and
right.
everything. We'll get the videos in there.
that. Sounds good.
Obviously, we mentioned last week those will be sticking more to Jesse's wrestling
Yes,
takes
yes,
than his
yes.
other takes, but we'll be promoting his other stuff as well on the channel. Can't wait to do that. But no, folks, like I said, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Hopefully these two here are here next week. Awesome show. Loved it.
Yes.
Once again, folks, it needs to be said because it was so criminally under spoke about. Congrats to Candice LeRae. We are
Yes.
more than
Yes.
happy for her on this show. Beautiful moment that honestly did not
Very well deserved.
did not get the love that it deserved.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we took the time for it. Spot Monkey still has a lot of formatting issues. That
yeah.
call us. We've got the time. We'll fix it. Even if they sent us the damn footage beforehand and we just called them back and said make these edits, it'd still be a better show.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all so very much. We'll get Eric on here to argue my point at some point here. But anyway, from all of us here at 13 Cards, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. These guys next week. Can't wait to hear you too. And thank you all for listening this week.